You're watching Wisconsin Public Television. Presentation of Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television is made possible in part by Goodman's Jewelers. John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers, proud of the tradition started by Robert and Irwin Goodman. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933. News Talk 1310 WIBA AM and ESPN 1070. The Badgers play here. The Mendota Gridiron Club, the official fundraising organization for University of Wisconsin football. University Athletic Department, with official information about Badger athletics on the web. The Wisconsin Alumni Association, connecting, enriching, and serving UW-Madison alumni and friends for more than 140 years. UWalumni.com. And by the Badger Fund, the Wisconsin Athletic Department's annual fundraising program, 14,000 donors, supporting 750 Badger student athletes.
Under Raiola. He'll throw. It's a quarterback draw. To the 2. To the 1. And a touchdown! Oh, touchdown!
Brandon creeps up a couple of yards. Snapback is clean. Freddie Muppet now tries a roll-off kick. Is blocked. It's loose in the end zone. Still loose. The Badgers cover it up. Touchdown, Wisconsin. There it is. Ben Strickland comes out of there. The Badgers block the punt, and they take the lead with 30 seconds left at the Metrodome.
And the question now, is there more magic in store for the University of Wisconsin today? Homecoming against Purdue. I'm Mike Heller along with Scott Nelson. The Badgers back home after a miraculous finish at Minnesota last week. Michigan a few weeks ago. And Nelly, this has been a magical season in many ways. And can it continue today against the Boilermakers with homecoming?
Yeah, I think so. We talked at the beginning of the season, it was all about opportunity. And a lot of guys have been injured. A lot of people are stepping up and making plays and taking the opportunity. In those two clips we saw right there in the open, one was offense, one was defense, and one was special teams. All three phases are working right now for the Badgers. The question is, can they keep it going?
And they play till the final double zeros are on the board. That's been a big key. It's also Brandon Williams, and he's provided his own little style of magic, whether it's punt returns, kick returns, or catching balls in the end zone.
Yeah, Brandon is a quality player. They brought him in doing a reason that's to run fast and catch balls, and he's done that tremendously this year. He's taken full advantage of his senior year. I think he's about where they thought he would be even 2 years ago, but he's capitalizing as an offensive player receiver, but he's elevated his game as a kick returner, as a punt returner. He's a threat all across the board. They're kicking away from him. Stocko's throwing to him. He's making the big catches, as you saw at the end of the week last week against Minnesota. Huge catch to win the game.
Number 1, Brandon Williams. Number 2, Brian Calhoun. Two big-time game changers featured today. It's homecoming, and the kickoff, Wisconsin and Purdue, is next on Wisconsin Public Television. It's starting to clear up here at Camp Randall Stadium. A cloudy and somewhat rainy morning is given way to some sunshine skies, and it's homecoming for Wisconsin, a team that has lost just one time this year. 6-1 are the Badgers. More importantly, I guess in the Big Ten focus, Scott, they're 3-1, and that puts him tied for first place, and a win today with a road trip next week to Illinois. And this team's got a chance down the stretch to be playing for a Big Ten title.
Yeah, I think if you look at the beginning of the season to where it is now, nobody would have guessed that what the Badgers would have been where they're at right now at this point of the season. I don't think anybody would have guessed that Purdue is in the same boat where they are right now as well. But the Badgers are in control of where they can go within the next 2 weeks against Purdue and then down in Illinois. If they win those two games, the Penn State game, as you look down the road of the schedule, is going to be a huge, huge matchup.
Barry Alvarez with 114 wins while at Wisconsin has 63 of those wins in the Big Ten. And Joe Tiller on the other sideline, 9th year at Purdue, 64-41 with 40-27 is his record in the Big Ten. A good note for Wisconsin. Purdue against ranked teams under Joe Tiller, 3-13 away from West Lafayette. So Wisconsin with the one of the longest home winning streaks in the country, has a chance to extend that today and also stay atop the Big Ten as far as the standings are concerned. There you see the referee, the crew here today working this game, and as always now, when you look at Big Ten football, they have instant replay, and Michael Briesma is the man in charge of that in the booth immediately to our right. Wisconsin will return the opening kickoff, and Brandon Williams has just been a story in and of itself this year. He's 5th in the NCAA in punt returns, but when it comes to kick returns, he is also very dangerous. Number 3 in the NCAA, number 1 in the Big Ten, 34.5 yards per return.
He's a quality talent across the board, as we talked about in the open, receiving, but also punt returns and kick returns. And I think he takes a lot of pride. Whenever he's out on the field, he wants to be the showman. He wants to be out there and make a big play, realizing it takes the other 10 guys, but he knows things fall on his shoulders to get the job done. He's done a tremendous job up to this point.
It's a season ticket sellout here at Camp Randall again, so a full house expected for the mid-afternoon start. Some in the student section to the north end of the stadium just slightly tardy in arriving, but Barry Alvarez is none concerned with that, as he wants his Wisconsin football team to play off of some of the shocking energy at the finish last week against Minnesota and turn it into another win in the Big Ten.
I think what he's looking at with these guys is he's used that as motivation to come back to the friendly confines of Camp Randall. This crowd after last week, there's a buzz about it. There's a lot of people talking. Unlikely win last week, but you got it. Now they want to see him perform out here again at Camp Randall for the hometown. And I think there was probably about 30,000 people up at the Metrodome last week, and now they're chomping at the bit to get after it again today.
Purdue puts a foot into it. Ben Jones will kick it deep to Williams. He's 2 yards deep, and he'll come out. Brandon hemmed in at the 15, stays on his feet, but very good special teams coverage by Purdue will pin Wisconsin inside their own 20-yard line, probably mark it just outside the 15. John Stocco has had a couple of great weeks in a row. Last week at Minnesota, a tremendous fourth quarter that allowed Wisconsin to be in it. 2 weeks ago, he threw for 326 yards and 4 touchdowns at Northwestern. Badgers will play it from the left hash mark, and they run Posiak in at fullback, at least on the initial set, in front of Brian Calhoun. 1st and 10 from the 15. Stocco will throw, and he's under pressure. Hit as he throws, and incomplete. He was looking for Owen Daniels, the tight end, but he got pressure from the left defensive end. Rob Ninkovich got pressure on Stocco around Keith Urbick, and that forced the throw to be off the mark. Let's look at Wisconsin's offense. Stocco is the quarterback. Calhoun, Presley listed as the starting fullback, and some talented receivers, Orr, Williams, and Daniels, all potential game breakers. Joe Thomas, one of the finalists now for the Offensive Lineman of the Year in the country, has just been outstanding. Badgers run a group set on the right, and Stocco will throw again. Wide open is Orr, and to the 24. He'll be a yard short of the first down. It brings up 3rd and short.
You know, Stocco, when we talk about him and his stats, the thing he's done, he did it last year against Purdue. He was very confident. Same thing against Northwestern and Minnesota. Very solid performance in the fourth quarter.
Now, it's a Purdue defense that when the season started, they returned all 11 starters. Now, as it stands, especially in the defensive backfield, they start 2 former receivers in the defensive backfield.
You know, I think they're real much like the Badgers were in the beginning of the season, trying to find the right combinations. But, you know, we talk about Ninkovich in the first play. That front 4 that they have is as good as anybody the Badgers have seen or will see all year long.
They did mark it for a first down, so Wisconsin, with Calhoun getting his first touch, might have gotten a yard and a half, maybe over the 25 to the 26-yard line. So it'll bring up 2nd and long. Wisconsin, you know, when the season began and you saw Brian Calhoun with 45 carries in the opening week and this offense looking to be a grinded-out offense, it has changed in the recent weeks. They have thrown the ball very effectively and quite often.
Yeah, and I think Barry, you know, when you look back to that first time, 45 carries, the 5 touchdowns that he had, they knew that they weren't going to be able to do that every single game, every single, against the Big Ten opponents as they have now.
Yeah, Donovan Raiola takes a spill courtesy of the defensive tackle Brent Grover. it will be a 5-yard mark-off in all likelihood against Purdue. This is a Boilermaker defense, Scott, that is the worst in the country, against the pass. 117 out of 117.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that the batters can set up their traditional running style of offense, but I think they've got a few wrinkles in their game plan today to open things up, to stretch the defense, much like the Badgers have been stretched the last couple of weeks, but to stretch this defensive secondary, see what they can get on when they have Williams, Orr, and White out there. Not many teams can cover all three at one time.
It is 2nd down and 3. Ball is at the 32. Stocko to throw. Jonathan Orr makes the first man miss. He's got a first down. And Wisconsin recognizes something in the Purdue secondary that every team that has played him this year has recognized. They don't cover receivers very well.
And when they do cover, it's about a 5-yard cushion that they have. And when you've got a guy that's the size of Jonathan Orr that way, that has the soft hands, the strength to grip the ball, and the speed to make people miss, and the moves to make people miss, they're bunching things up. They're forcing some misdirection right now in the secondary. And again, the guys are flashing open for about 5 or 6 yards, and then they make the most after the catch.
Another first down, second on the opening set for the Wisconsin Badgers, and Stocko fakes, now wants to throw. He goes deep up over the left side, and it's caught by Brandon Williams to the 31.
Right on the money from John Stocko out to Williams right there, doing a simple crossing route with Jonathan Orr on the other side, streaking over to make sure that he pulls the cornerback deep, and Williams runs underneath, but a perfect strike, perfect catch by Brandon Williams, and a first down. Big play for the Badgers.
29 yards on the catch. Brandon Williams now is first all-time in total receptions at Wisconsin. He came in tied with Lee Evans. He's also the first player in Wisconsin history to have 4 500-yard receiving years at the university. So a couple of milestones on his first touch of the day. Stocko's got room to run on the left. He'll get flushed out of bounds, maybe a yard and a half, 2 yards short of the first down. Good recognition by John not to throw it into trouble, but to get it close to a first down, and brings him in a 2nd and short.
Joe Thomas off the left side there. Good protection coming from the defensive end. Stocko recognizing the pocket starting to collapse. Jason Palermo's guy flashed off of him. Stocko stepped up, looked downfield. Every single guy was covered, did the right thing, tucking the ball and running for 8 yards.
John Stocko with the opening possession, 3 of 4 in the air for 47 yards, and he also picked up 8 on the ground on that last flush. It is 2nd and short. Stocko from the shotgun, flushes left to Calhoun. He's got a blocker, cuts it inside, uses him well to the touchdown. It's a touchdown, Wisconsin, Brian Calhoun.
Recognition from Stocko there again that they're running a blitz. Flare out there to Calhoun. Again, a perfect ball, right on the money. And then Calhoun does what he does so well, what he's done tremendously all season long. Sets up his blockers, little fake inside, decides I'm going to go, nope, just psych you out. I'm going to head outside there, and you got a bunch of big boys running out in front of you there, most notably number 76, Matt Lawrence.
Matt Lawrence with a great seal block. Mel Hawk now on the extra point. It's good, and less than 3 minutes gone by in the first. It is Wisconsin 7 and Purdue nothing.
You know, a lot of times, Barry, with his teams, when they get a chance, they want to start the defense out there to start fast and get out there. The offense, knowing that had a lot of momentum from last week, a good, solid week of practice, marching down the field, perfect play calling. A lot of times, they'll script the first 15 to 20 plays based on what they've seen on film. And in this case, it seems like the coaches are right on the money and all the kids are executing. Tremendous drive.
I talked with John Stocko about Paul Christ and his impact on Monday. Stocko was talking about how confident they are to go to the play that they're going. There's no doubt in the huddle when a play is called that they believe they have the opportunity to be successful. And one of the things that John Stocko feels he's matured in is trusting the call and trusting the throw, knowing that a receiver is going to be at the spot and open. And I really think that's Paul Christ's touch his impact on this Wisconsin offense.
Yeah, and the nice thing, a lot of times you'll have certain coaches that will practice all week long trying to do 2 or 3 different things in various formations, certain plays. Either you get to the game situation, that changes, and the guys aren't quite sure what to do. In this case, they run the plays that they're in practice that they're going to run in the game, and you're right, Stocko does have confidence in him, and when they get in the huddle, he sells it to the other guys out there with him that confidence is across all 11 when they're playing.
Here's Dorian Bryant, and he is a game changer as well, although not on that punt. Bryant slips down at the 14 again. It did rain this morning. Bryant with 14 kick returns this year, 27-yard average, just under 27, and he has returned one 95 yards for a touchdown there. He takes himself out, and you'll see Curtis Painter as the starting quarterback today for Purdue. 8 of 24 for 109 yards on the season. The sophomore from Vincennes, Indiana, takes the spot of Brandon Kirsch, the senior, who finds a spot on the Purdue bench to start this one. Kirsch has Gerard Boyd in the backfield from the shotgun, and the handoff to Boyd. He'll carry a couple of tacklers outside the 20. Sanders in on the tackle, and he's carried to the 20-yard line. Let's look at Purdue's offense. Really, it's highlighted by Kyle Ingraham and Dorian Bryant, the receivers who have been outstanding for Purdue. Gerard Boyd only has 294 yards on the ground, and that offensive line is small by Big Ten standards. Only one player in the offensive line over 300 pounds. 2nd and 5, and this time they'll throw coming near side, and just off the mark for Corey Sheets. It's incomplete. The ball goes to the turf, and it is 3rd and 4. Look at Wisconsin's defense. We didn't know and still don't whether we'll see Justin Ostrowski today. He's not out there right now. Ware, Chapman, Hayden, and Shaughnessy lined up front. The linebackers have been steady. Watkins, Zalewski, and Sanders. And the secondary, Langford and Ikeguano on the corners, and Stellmacher and Rogers are the safeties. Ikeguano getting the start in front of senior captain Brett Bell. Looking to the right side, it's complete in the underneath move and outside of the first down to the 34-yard line. It's caught on the outside by the tight end and Captain Charles Davis, who gets Purdue's first move of the chains today.
Yeah, for Purdue, they've got 2 guys that are going to cause fits for the Badgers based on their size alone. One is him, Davis, who's 6'6". The other one is Ingraham, he's 6'9", and the size of the Badgers secondary, they're going to have trouble covering those tall receivers.
Yeah, and he stepped inside on that one, stepped inside of Lamar Watkins. It is first down at the 34, and a fake this time coming from Painter. Now flush, he'll run, and he'll slide down very close to the first down.
I think that's one thing that the Purdue coaches tried to do in the beginning of the season with Brandon Kirsch is open up the running game a little bit for the quarterback, knowing that they're going to spread things out a little bit. I think Curtis Painter is a little bit quicker than what Kirsch is, and Kirsch has struggled with that a little bit. I think they're going to try and get back to some of the simplification with a younger quarterback who doesn't have the experience, but let him do what he does so well. Just look at the field. If you can't get it, pull it down and run.
Second and very short. This is where Purdue wants to be offensively. It's not where Wisconsin wants to be defensively. Painter on the option, comes near side. He'll keep it, and Stellmacher made the hit. The ball loose. We'll see if they call it down. It is Wisconsin football. The line judge points Wisconsin's way, and that gives the Badgers the day's first turnover and another scoring opportunity at the 45.
That's always the caution you have to be careful of when you have your quarterback running an option. If you see somebody coming, you know where your pitch man is. Tuck it away if you're going to run it, but that time he didn't tuck it away soon enough. Stellmacher with a big hit.
It's out.
It definitely is out. And Brett Bell with the recovery. Tremendous play and recognition by those guys, but Stellmacher coming up, running his key and reading it so well. I've got the quarterback. I hit the quarterback. A lot of times he can't handle the ball like a running back can, and pops it out. Tremendous play.
So Wisconsin forcing the turnover and gets the ball in outstanding field position at the Purdue 45. There you see Brett Bell, captain, who didn't get the start today, but has one of the day's first big plays. Stocko wants to throw deep on the left side. Has a man, Jonathan Orr, and he can't come down with it at the 3-yard line. Couldn't quite make the adjustment on the deep ball.
Stocko on that actually could have had his pick on either one of them, Jonathan or Brandon Williams, who's coming across the field wide open. puts the ball right on the money. Jonathan Orr running a route, trying to come inside a little bit. Stocko throws it out his outside leftover shoulder. Knows where it's almost impossible for the secondary to get to that. Jonathan Orr just couldn't get those big long arms out there far enough to catch the ball. But good call, good play, good execution. Just got to finish on the end.
You'll often see that after a quick change. After the turnover in the midfield range, they'll go after the big one right away. There it had a chance and comes up short. 2nd and 10, and Calhoun on the delay hit in the backfield and taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Purdue's front line and into the backfield with a loss of 2.
You hit on a little bit the sudden change that way with an offense and a defense that way, especially with an inexperienced secondary like Purdue has. Guys that are used to be on the offensive side of the ball, you can usually get those quick hitters, and the Badgers have stretched this defense enough to see some different things where they're going to be able to find some holes and get some big hitting plays.
Alex Magee making the tackle. Now it's a big play here, 3rd and 12. Wisconsin's second best in the Big Ten in third down conversions. On a blitz, Stocko throws it up, and it's wide of the mark. He just had to throw it, and Brandon White couldn't get out of the break soon enough. Stocko seeing the safety blitz, and well-timed from Purdue forces Wisconsin into a punting situation.
Good call by the Purdue defense there. Guy came completely untouched up the middle. The safety coming right in, Stocko. Stocko knew where he had to go with the football. When he recognized the blitz, nobody was able to pick him up, but he threw it out to White out there, who really had a chance had Stocko had time. I think had a first down play there, but a good call. Just miscommunication up front there by the offensive line and running backs.
Ken DeBush, best in the country, or among them. He's number 2 in the country in yards per punt at 46.5 yards. He's also outstanding on pinning the opposing team inside their 20. High snap, good catch, and hits a wobbler near side that's going to find its way out of bounds. Most important thing there was to make the catch of the high snap. The high snap coming from the Badgers' long snapper, and that's Steve Johnson, sophomore from Brookfield. DeBush made a great catch and was good enough to get the punt off.
And not quite the same situation as last week, but Minnesota, we saw what a snap and a fumble snap can be, and DeBush did a tremendous job that way of bringing it down, at least getting something out of it.
Talking about the Badger defensive line here, because it is one that has been incredibly banged up. Not even to talk about the 4 kids, great players that graduated to the NFL a year ago. This is what we're looking at. Cooper, probably the best defensive lineman on the field for the first 4 weeks this year, out for the season. Justin Ostrowski hadn't played it down yet. They thought he might play today, and we'll look for him throughout the day today. Mark Gorman done. Joe Monty was hurt a couple of weeks ago, didn't expect to see him this week, and then today he was a game-time decision. So it's not a very healthy defensive line, and there's another group of guys who's banged up behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. Kurt Ware, Nick Hayden, Shaughnessy, those guys that have stepped in and done it. Jason Chapman, another young man that has stepped in, and they've done a tremendous job filling in for those guys. But now you've got people shuffling around because you're so depleted down there. Young guys like Travis Beckham out of Oak Creek, guys that aren't used to playing down. Brandon Kelly, Mike Newkirk, who's a linebacker that's moved down now. And again, guys are showing up and making plays, but they're not in their typical position that they were in high school or what they practiced through spring ball up until the beginning of the season.
You see Joe Monty hopping around down there. Just look at this defensive line this time. It'll be Monty, Hayden, Shaughnessy, and Newkirk on the defensive line. So John Palermo has really had to work hard, and he's always outstanding in the way he rotates and gets his defensive line ready to play. I heard him earlier this week saying, any of the shortcomings that they've had have not come from the defensive line. He's very happy with what his guys have been able to do in that position, and he has been stretched to the limit.
It's amazing to me to even see Monty out there after the end of the game last week. They weren't sure he was going to play the rest of the season. So to have him out there, it's a credit to the medical staff and training staff and to Monty's hard work to get himself ready to play for today. Camp
Randall, one of the best home venues in the country. Hey, and here at Camp Randall, they're starting to pack our place here this morning, getting it filled up rather this afternoon. Even with a late start, people having fun getting into the stadium. Purdue gets about 5 on first down there. Wisconsin unable to take advantage of the first turnover of the ball game, and Purdue gets it back trailing 7-0. You talk about those home winning streaks. Iowa had one of the nation's longest. They were beaten today by Michigan at home in overtime, so the Badgers' 10-game winning streak moves up the list of the longest in the country. Gerard Ward going to be held up just shy of the first down. Roderick Rogers coming up to join in along with Dontez Sanders, who is the team's leading tackler, coming in with 54 stops on the season.
You know, one thing that you always have to caution yourself with when you have a defensive line that is depleted as they are, even though Palermo says it's not necessarily their fault, it's a full collective group, because when you are depleted, now you rely on your linebackers that much more in your secondary. Purdue's been able to get to that second level, and they're gassing for 5-6 yards a shot.
Painter on the quarterback draw outside the 40. He'll cover it up and go to the 41. I think the coaches had a little talk with Painter on the sideline saying, you're quarterback. That means when you get into traffic, put it away.
Yeah, tuck it away and tuck it away hard, especially with as physical as these games are in the Big Ten. He's got to cover with both arms. He's not going to let that happen again. And they're rushing the Badgers right now, too. They're going right at the middle for running plays, but they're not huddling. They're forcing them to make some checks off at the line of scrimmage, which is a difficult thing to do as a secondary.
3 receivers into motion. One comes now back into the backfield. And Painter hands to Gerard Ward, spun around, flag comes in late, and that's going to be a holding call on Jordan Grimes.
I think Mike Newkirk makes a great move to come inside there and had nothing to do but grab on.
Holding, 66 offense, 10 yards, previous spot.
Justin Ostrowski has checked in on the defensive line, and talk about his ability to compete here. He's a redshirt sophomore from Portage, 6'5", 304, and he has yet to play until today. He was hurt in the preseason in camp and didn't know if he was going to get an opportunity to get on the field.
And I think Palermo last year, when he talked about Justin getting out there, he was excited about what he saw, the potential that this young man had. Now you have him and Hayden both in there at 300 pounds. They're really about the same size of what we had last year with the Badgers.
1st and 20, and up the middle, carrying a couple of tacklers, is Ward, who will get about 4 yards shy of the original line of scrimmage, making it 2nd and 14. Nick Hayden's a big kid, too, huh?
He is. But you know what? The Purdue, they're not backing away from either one of those guys. They're going right up the middle almost every single run that they've had, with the exception of the one quarterback run to the outside on the option. They've gone right up the middle. Must know something up there, with at least with their center and 2 guards, creating some seams for those guys to go straight up the gut.
It is 2nd down and 13, 7:20 to play in the first quarter, 7-0 Badgers. In motion is Dorian Bryant, very talented. Painter looks over the left side. Good throw in front of Brett Bell. It is caught on the left side by Brian Hare. He's short of the first down. It brings up 3rd and about 5.
And that's simple recognition by his secondary, Brett Bell, knowing the position that they're in, what they need for a first down, not letting them get behind him for that first down, making a solid quick break on the ball, trying to strip it out there, but making sure you grab cloth to bring him down short of the first down.
Yeah, Curtis Painter, who hasn't thrown the ball a whole lot, looks like he has a very strong arm.
Yeah, he looks very strong for a quarterback, both running and throwing.
Throwing some fastballs. It is 3rd and 5. Painter rolls, drops back, throws it into the flat right side, incomplete. Gerard Ward couldn't pull it in. Probably would have had a first down had he been able to make the catch. But in a crowd on the right sideline, couldn't pull it in. And Brandon Williams goes back deep to receive. The punter for Purdue is David Brightus, and he averages about 39.5 yards a punt. Brandon Williams, 5th in the NCAA, 2nd in the Big Ten. It's 17.8 yards per return. Very high short punt. No return here. Going to bounce at the 20 and take a Purdue roll inside to the 14, 15-yard line. There is a flag that went down from the back judge as the ball was rolling to a stop. See what we get here.
Brandon did a good job of coming up and telling his guys to get away from it, making a fair catch, drawing the defense away from where the ball was actually flying. Good job on his part.
Kick catch interference, number 5. Impeding the receiver's path to the ball. 15-yard penalty.
That's a 15-yarder. That is a huge call. That ball was going to be at the 16, and instead it's going to be out at the 41.
can see him waving right there and trying to get over there.
Oh, boy. I don't know about that, Scott. That's, we do these games obviously with a little bit of a homer tinge towards Wisconsin, but to me that's a bad call.
Well, Brandon, what he was doing, he was coming up knowing the point of the ball wasn't turning over, so he wasn't going to get the length on the kick that he first thought. So Williams came up, making a fair catch, drew the defense off to the other side where the ball wasn't going, bringing his guys with him and letting them know that nobody was going to be there to catch it. But that was a little questionable there. I don't even think Brandon was making an attempt to catch the ball.
I don't think he was going to get the ball. That's one of those calls that you're glad to get it, but on the flip side, you'd hate to have that called against you because it's not a good call.
Yeah, they basically gave him the rollback. Had he did catch it, they basically got the rollback on that.
It's about a 25-yard penalty. This is a Purdue defense that they don't need to be put in a bind because statistically they've been bad all year. Just look at that. That's about as bad as it gets. The third one down the list there, passing defense, when you talk about being 117th in the country, there are 117 Division 1A football teams.
Yeah, and this defense, up to last year when the Badgers played them down at West Lafayette, I think the Badgers were 10th. Purdue at that time was 5th in the country. Tremendous ball game. A lot of people remember that where Starks picked up the fumble, rumbled about 50 yards for the touchdown to win the game, and same defense that they had back from last year to this year. Again, some guys have been hurt and dinged up, but you would think having that experience and that excitement coming back, you wouldn't have to worry about your defense compared to your offense, and the defense has really been the one that struggled for Purdue so far this year.
It didn't show it on that graphic, but your defense is bad when in the Big Ten you're rated 12th in a category. That
would be really bad.
That's when things aren't going so well. They were 11th across the board, and one we didn't put on there, they were 12th. I'm not sure what that was, but that's how bad this defense has been for Purdue this year. Wisconsin scored on their first possession in this one and lead it 7-0. 6:20 to play. Stocko, in his first series today, was 4 of 5. He's now 4 of 7, 70 yards in the air. And Brian Calhoun has only had 1 or 2 attempts to carry the ball for -1 yard. He has a touchdown catch, though, of 23 yards, one of the best in the country in all-purpose yardage. And see if they can get Calhoun on track carrying the ball here. It's so tempting to throw it consistently against the worst pass defense in the Big Ten. Calhoun to the outside, makes 2 men miss. He's got the 43-yard line, and it's a 3-yard pickup on the play, but it's an awfully good run.
Very good run getting to the outside. A lot of times Badgers, they run a stretch play and just let the running back get out there and run. Calhoun has got the speed and the mobility to get out there, but he's also can stop on a dime, playing upfield and get some positive yardage going north and south. But good blocking downfield as well by some of the linemen getting out there, and the receivers, they were in man-to-man coverage. It's a lot easier to lock up your defensive player on that when they're that close to you.
Stanford Kegler was the big misser on that one. It is 2nd and 7. Calhoun has gone to the shaded mask inside the helmet, face mask. Over the middle, Brandon Williams wide open, and Stocko never got set with his back foot. He threw it off balance, and many times when that happens, Nelly, the ball sails high. If he hits Williams on that one, he might take it all the way home.
Yeah, I don't know if there was anybody else. Again, man-to-man coverage with Williams coming across middle, had the separation from his defensive back there. Purdue was running a stunt. Stocko couldn't wait long enough or didn't want to wait long enough. Actually, the front 7 did pick up the blitz that would have given them time to step into it. Just like you said, when you throw off your back foot, a lot of times that sails, and Williams isn't the tallest guy out there, but definitely overthrown.
0 of 1, nothing of 1 on 3rd down today. Fake the reverse to Williams. Now the blitz comes. It's a screen perfectly set up. Posiak on the sideline. He'll get the 30-yard line. It's a first down on 3rd and 7. The Badgers pick up about 30.
Great call. The Badgers have used that throughout the course of the year. They've used the tight end screen that way, just on the inside, let your lineman get out there and block for you. Most of the time we've seen Owen Daniels do that, but in his case he's been dinged up the last couple of years, but Posiak getting a chance to get out there, catch the ball, secure it, and then showing some of his speed flashing down the field that way. He's not a little guy out there for the Badgers, number 84. He's 6'3", 260 pounds, so he's rumbling and stumbling with a lot of momentum getting down there.
Give Brian White and Paul Chris the win over defensive coordinator Brock Spack of Purdue on that one. It is 1st and 10 of the 29, and back to pass Stocco. Over the middle, again to Brandon Williams. Williams looks for a flag, doesn't get one. And he wanted to break inside, and Williams felt like he was held from doing that. No flag, it's incomplete, 2nd down.
Yeah, it certainly looked like he was getting held there, because when you see him try to break in there, it's almost like he had a little delay. He wasn't able to go, but most of the time the receivers know that when they're being held, you can feel it handed. They don't mind the hand checking, but when they try to make a break and they can't, they know for sure that somebody was hanging on.
Ray Williams on the coverage, number 2, former wide receiver. He knows how that works.
Yeah, he can work that a little bit, I bet.
2nd and 10, ball at the 29. Raiola surveys, now gives it to Stocco. Stocco going to move up front. Stutter steps, he'll get maybe a yard or 2, and it'll bring up another 3rd and long, 3rd and 8 we'll call it, as we tick down to the 5-minute mark remaining in the first quarter.
Not much Stocco could do there. The pocket collapsed very quickly. He stepped in there, tried to find somebody downfield, but again, when you got guys coming at you and you know that pocket's collapsing, you got to make some positive yardage, and linebackers recognized that he was going to run, and they collapsed pretty quickly in there.
Well, Brian Calhoun has 3 carries for 3 yards, so credit Purdue's defense for stopping the run in the early going. Wisconsin having to do all their damage, just about 100 yards worth, in the air. 3rd and 8. Stocco under pressure. Comes near side. He's got Owen Daniels. And it's going to be close, and it will be a 1st down.
Perfect route by Owen Daniels, knowing exactly what he needed for the 1st down, doing a simple out route. That time Stocco waited and waited patiently enough. The pocket was collapsing, felt the blitz coming, but stepped into the throw and put it right on the money, unlike he didn't hit Brandon Williams earlier in the drive. But that time he waited long enough and trusted the offensive line to protect him, hit it out there, and Daniels made a tremendous diving catch for the 1st down.
It really is a good catch.
It is.
That's not an easy ball to catch. Stocco throws it where he has to, but a very good catch by a former quarterback in Owen Daniels. Inside the 20, now in the red zone of the 18-yard line. Fumbled snap. Stocco goes to a knee and covers it up. And he and Raiola not on the same page that time. A loss of 3.
Calhoun a little frustrated with that, but Stocco, they had a blitz coming from the strong safety on the other side there. I'm not sure what would have happened even if Stocco would have had the ball to get it to Calhoun, because he was coming with a head of steam. It actually might have saved him a couple yards or a big shot on your quarterback even.
Well, Brandon Williams has the most touches Brian Calhoun has the most touches of any player in college football this year. I asked him about that on Monday, and he said he wasn't aware of that, but he's unaffected by it. Doesn't matter. It is 2nd and 13, and Stocco will throw. Corner blitz, picked up. Now Stocco pumps and will run it to the 18. Back to the original line of scrimmage, and 3rd down coming.
There you see some of the speed that Purdue has from the linebacking core and the pressure they can get on that front 4 that they have. Again, very experienced ball club, very dangerous defense until you get to the back end where they've been dinged up a little bit. But another corner blitz coming in, good pickup by Calhoun, but tremendous job down the field of not covering everybody, so when Stocco does get out there, he's got nobody to look at to throw to.
Play clock is at 15, and Stocco is just getting into the huddle. They'll have to hurry as they come to the line, now down to 10 seconds. Stocco with 3 receivers to the left. In the slot is Owen Daniels. Near side receiver is Brandon Williams, and he'll be joined by Daniels in motion. Stocco to throw, lost his footing, gets it underneath to Orr, who's going to be short of the 1st down, and that should bring out Taylor Melhoff for a field goal attempt, and Taylor's been very good, having missed just once this year, or twice rather. 9 of 11 overall. He's made 8 of his last 9.
Stocco getting a lot of pressure from his backside. Joe Thomas up against number 93 Ninkovich again. Basically got bowled over there by Robin from the secondary there on the backside, and Stocco didn't really have a chance to get anything off, plant his feet, or make a positive throw that way.
29-yarder, and Melhoff is 2 of 2 on the year from 20 to 29. That one will sneak through right down the middle, in fact, and it is 10-0 Wisconsin. 1:57 to play in the first quarter.
a very workman-like drive, much like their first drive was. The thing that is a little bit different for folks to watch now with the Badgers, they're used to having Bernstein back there. Much more of a traditional pro-style set. Receiver out on the left side, receiver on the right side, 2 running backs. What the Badgers are doing now is they have receivers out there. They run trips and twins to either side that way because they don't have Bernstein, the fullback. They haven't been really impressed with Presley filling in the block, and Calhoun needs that extra body in there, but because they're able to expose some things from Purdue and to widen things out a little bit, they're able to get away with a few more things by not having that extra running back there to block for him.
Wisconsin will be on the road after today's game for the next 2 weeks at Illinois and then at Penn State, returning home for the final home game of the year and the Big Ten finale for Wisconsin Saturday, November the 12th. And you can watch it all right here at 10:30 that Saturday night, November the 12th. Wisconsin against Iowa on Wisconsin Public Television. They will finish the season. And Nelly, I don't think you've gotten the assignment yet. They'll finish the season in Hawaii. And I wasn't sure whether you were...
You didn't get the call about going out there?
I've got the call. I'm there. I just didn't know if you had gotten the call or not. But you see the fans reacting to last week's dramatics at the conclusion of the Minnesota game. How unlikely, how improbable, how magical was that finish? It was one of the national plays of the week. It was the game-changing play of the week.
And rightfully so.
National weekly deals.
I tell you, I had a couple folks ask me after that game if I ever played anything like that, and I said I played in some wild games, but nothing ever like that, where Strickland recovers in the end zone that way to win the game, and then come back and kick off and force a fumble again. It just for 3 plays in a row like that, it was just wildfire out there. And again, we talked about in the open, the Badgers play 4 quarters from the start of the game to the end of the game. You'll see in the 4th quarter, everybody on the sidelines raises their hands with number 4 because they know how important that is, and they've been able to finish games. And last year they had the theme 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. This year, after the last couple weeks, it's finished. We've got to finish every single game, and I think they see the results of that.
They failed to finish in just 1, and that was at Northwestern. And they did have a chance in that to finish in a very tough place to play. Northwestern has emerged as the Cinderella in this Big Ten, and an offense that has been just about unstoppable.
Knocking out the Badgers, then beating Purdue, and this week giving it to Michigan State. They've done a tremendous job down at Evanston.
Melhoff hits it deep, and that one will not be returned. And the special teams for Wisconsin continue to shine as they have all season long. And Purdue will take over at their own 20. They did make the Boilermakers and Joe Tiller made a quarterback change this week, replacing Brandon Kirsch, the senior, who had 236 pass attempts this year, 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And they go to the untested Curtis Painter, who was 8 of 24 on the year, coming in for 109 yards, no touchdowns, no interception, and he gets the nod for the Boilermakers here at Wisconsin. Running the option right on the pitch. He goes to Corey Sheets. Sheets cuts it back in, might get a yard. Good pursuit by the Badger defense.
Great job down there. They tested the option to the left side earlier in the first quarter. This time in the second quarter, or in the second time they tested, they go off to the right, but 5 Badgers out there covering up, and when the pitch is made, they tackle.
There's Brandon Kirsch, who is the deposed starter. He had 7 touchdowns. This is a Purdue team that many thought would win the Big Ten. And they have been a monumental disappointment, losing 4 in a row right now and trying to find their way out of trouble. It's short on the near side from Painter, and it brings up 3rd and long. You know, Nelly, there's such a great flow of emotion in college football. Sometimes when things begin to go well, they continue to go well. Other times, like in Purdue's case, when they go bad, they
go real bad. Yeah, and I think the Badgers and the Boilermakers are 2 perfect examples of each side of the extreme on that. When they're going well for the Badgers, you catch some breaks. You get lucky no matter how many guys are injured or who's out there. Purdue on the other side, again, when things are bad, like you just said, they go real bad. And the excitement, the emotion isn't always there unless you get some things early. But Purdue up to this point has really been shut down by Wisconsin.
Badgers show blitz, now step out, 4-man rush, throwing right side over the top of Roderick Rogers and caught on the boundary for a first down. I believe it's Chatham's that makes the catch. No, it isn't. It's Greg Orton on the sideline, and a perfect throw over the top of 2 deep coverage, and Rogers is in the right spot.
Yeah, he's in perfect position for that, but a tremendous throw by Painter there, but when you get a guy that, again, we talked about a couple of guys, 6'6", 6'9", Orton 6'4", so the secondary for the Badgers has some big, tall receivers to cover.
Just shy of the 40, and on the give in the backfield, it's Corey Sheets who goes to the far side. He's cut down as Rogers comes up to help make the tackle.
Rogers and Newkirk, I think, got the first big mid on him right there and started bringing him down, and Rogers was able to finish him off. But Newkirk is a big boy. He's filling in. Again, he's a linebacker, but he's filling down on the defensive line. Number 54 for the Badgers. He's 6'3", 250 pounds out of Ladysmith, but a good ball player out of high school there and making the most of his time out there for the Badgers on the field.
Just a redshirt freshman, so Wisconsin has a lot of future talent that is performing well now out on the field. And again, it goes on the option to the right side, and on the sideline, it is Gerard Boyd, who had a big hole on the outside. Great initial fake inside to Sheets, and the pitch goes to the outside. In fact, it was Dorian Bryant, and all the way down the sideline goes Bryant. Langford caught in no man's land.
Yeah, and that's the trouble when you get out there. You got a young freshman defensive back in Langford. You have to play responsibility football when it comes to the option. He's got the pitch. Your linebacker, your safety is going to cover down on the quarterback. Go to your man, force him to go back inside. And again, you saw how difficult it is for a quarterback to handle the ball. He turned it over once, let him get hit again.
Dorian Bryant is 7th in the country in all-purpose yardage. And there he shows you why. A wideout lining up in the backfield and taking the option.
Yeah, he's right behind Calhoun, I think, in the national stats that way. So you've got a lot of firepower out here with Calhoun and Williams for the Badgers, him for the Boilermakers, and then you get the running backs and Boyd and Sheets, two very solid running backs as well. They get in the open field. There's not many guys that can catch them.
John Palermo doing some coaching and some teaching on the sideline as the first quarter comes to a close. It is Wisconsin 10 and the Boilermakers of Purdue nothing on homecoming at Camp Randall Stadium. Second quarter is next on Wisconsin Public Television.
Thank you for watching Wisconsin Public Television. Now let us know what you think about the program you've just watched or any of our programs by calling 1-800-253-1158 or by emailing us at comments@wpt.org. Wisconsin Public Television belongs to you. Thanks for letting us know what you think.
What if your life could become better by just flipping a switch? It can, with Wisconsin Public Radio. Bring the world to your doorstep every morning with NPR News.
From NPR News and
Relax with an inspiring concerto during your lunch break. Or join in the talk about issues that matter to you.
To the Ideas Network.
Visit WPR.org and learn about everything Wisconsin Public Radio has for you. Turn it on. Wisconsin Public Radio.
Very happy to have you with us.
This is Wisconsin Public Television. Presentation of Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television is made possible in part by Goodman's Jewelers. John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers, proud of the tradition started by Robert and Irwin Goodman. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933. News Talk 1310 WIBA AM and ESPN 1070. The Badgers play here. The Mendota Gridiron Club, the official fundraising organization for University of Wisconsin football. University Athletic Department, with official information about Badger athletics on the web. The Wisconsin Alumni Association, connecting, enriching, and serving UW-Madison alumni and friends for more than 140 years. UWalumni.com. And by the Badger Fund, the Wisconsin Athletic Department's annual fundraising program, 14,000 donors supporting 750 Badger student athletes.
Welcome back to Camp Randall Stadium. Second quarter of action about ready to get underway. Purdue on a drive right now. Has its second and call it 6 at the Wisconsin 31-yard line. Going left to right towards the south end zone. Had some sunshine as the game began. It is now faded away to more overcast skies. And Purdue on a pretty good march here offensively. Quarterback is Curtis Painter. Gerard Boyd in the backfield from the shotgun. Snap and a fake coming near side. No, he held it. Throws deep over the middle. Stellmacher in position. Knocks it away at the last second. Stellmacher never went for the fake and tipped it away at the last possible moment. I thought for just a second, Nelly, he had mistimed his jump. You've been in these spots.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Tremendous recognition. Didn't go for the fake. Playing center field, he gets back there, but you see him stutter step there a little bit. He takes one more full stride. I think he can pick that off, but that's the risk you take when you get out there. You're playing center field. You got to know where you're at. Does a good enough job to get his hand on the football.
It is 3rd and 6. Badgers come on the blitz over the middle. It's caught underneath by Brian Hare. And will he have the first down? He does on forward progress to the 23-yard line. So Purdue converts on 3rd down. They are now 4 of 5 on 3rd down today.
Stellmacher before that play was trying to get the defensive secondary lineup, making sure people had everybody covered down. Somebody missed the check that he was trying to get, whether it was him or a linebacker trying to cover on the inside receiver, but came right across the middle, wide open.
It is 1st and 10 for Purdue at the 23. 4-man defensive front. And Painter hands it off up the middle and plunging his way near a first down all the way inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. And I believe that was Corey Sheets on the big pickup. Stellmacher finally in on the tackle.
This is the 2nd or 3rd time that we've seen this happen, but Dorian Bryant lines up in the backfield as well, and they just use him as a decoy there. But I think that was actually number 27, Brandon Jones, a running back. He's 5'11", 236 pounds, and he's a low coming through there. But they are using Bryant at many different avenues, out split at wide receiver and in the backfield as well.
Brandon Jones, a 5th-year senior, been around a long time. To the left side, and it's Jones to the 10, and he runs right through the corner, Brett Bell, and he's inside the 10 to the 9-yard line, and Purdue's got it 1st and goal to go.
That's Brett Bell when he comes up there, 5'11", 236 again. We just said about Brandon Jones, and that's a whole head of steam. He's low to the ground. He's got some huge legs that drive just like pistons, and Bell goes down and tries to hit him low where you really want to on a big running back like that, but you got to keep your feet moving as well as a tackler as you get run over just like that.
See if Wisconsin's defense can bow up here. 1st and goal from the 9. In motion, Bryant. He'll step back into the backfield. And the handoff goes to Jones, who runs through another tackler. Inside the 4-yard line, or inside the 5 to the 4. And it will be 2nd and goal. And boy, did he level a hit. Brandon Jones is lowering a shoulder.
Brandon Jones, again, those big, strong thighs getting up in there. And Dontez Sanders. Andy Crooks was in there as well, along with number 54 and Mike Newkirk making a tackle. But it's taken 3 or 4 big guys to bring him down.
Brett Bielema making the defensive call. Brett Bielema, the defensive coordinator and soon-to-be head coach at Wisconsin. 2nd and goal. Quarterback draw. Painter to the 2, to the 1, to the end zone. Touchdown, Purdue. We've seen that play. We saw it in the open. Quarterback draw, and Painter does a good job to get into the end zone, and it is now close to being a 3-point game.
A very similar call that John Stocco had to win the game against Michigan, but Nick Hayden gets through there. His lineman probably just pushed him a little bit outside so he could go downfield and block at the 2nd level for linebackers, but tremendous recognition and getting up in there by Painter to get up into the field, sidestep Hayden, and get in for the touchdown.
Ben Jones is good on the extra point, and with 12:42 to play in the first half, it is Wisconsin 10 and Purdue 7. There you see Curtis Painter up close and personal.
Yeah.
He's done a pretty good job. He had the fumble that Purdue's defense bowed up and stopped Wisconsin from getting points out of. Other than that, I've been impressed with the young quarterback. He throws fastballs. When he puts the ball in the air, he throws it hard, has been on the mark for the most part, and has been tough running the ball.
Yeah, he's been very tough. Again, I think a little bit faster, a little bit shiftier of a runner than Brandon Kirsch is, but he's a guy that gets out there. He's 6'4", so he can see the field well. He knows where he wants to go. He is throwing the ball very hard. It looks like he's had a couple missed missed throws, but I think on those things he's thrown low and a little bit off just because the secondary or the linebacker's so close that there's certain times where instead of throwing it and having a chance at interception, you do throw it away. It just looks like a bad throw, but this is where the Badgers have to be careful now because Purdue is starting to get a little momentum. They had a good drive going. They had some big third down conversions, and a young guy like this and Painter that doesn't necessarily know any better. What should I be able to do? What shouldn't I do? He doesn't think. He just goes out and plays, and he has fun doing it.
12 plays and 80 yards on the drive for Purdue. Painter on the 4-yard run to cap it off. And the Boilermakers right back in this one, 10-7, late, or rather early in the second quarter. Statistics are pretty close to even in a ball game right now. 141 yards for Purdue offensively, 126 for the Badgers. First downs even at 6 apiece. The stat that kind of jumps off for me on our stat board here is third down efficiency. Purdue is 4-5. Got to be able to get off the field on third down.
Yeah, and that's been one of the things the Badgers defense has not been able to do the last 2 weeks. They've given up over 1,100 yards the last 2 weeks alone, and that's because they haven't been able to convert on third down, stop them in a fourth down punting situation. The Badgers offense is 50% as well. They're 2 out of 4, so they're getting some things done. They just haven't had as many opportunities. The other thing, Mike, I'm kind of surprised at is Brian Calhoun. He's only got 4 touches on the day, but he's 3 carries, 3 yards. He's a guy that they're going to have to get on track. He's got to get out there and make some big plays for this offense to get running again the direction they want to.
You know, Nelly, this is a Purdue defense, as maligned as they are with some of the stats. They only allow 3.3 yards per carry on the ground.
Yep.
So they have been solid against the rush. It's just their secondary is beat up. They only have 2 of their original starters in the secondary.
Right.
The 2 of them are back there are wide receivers converted to the secondary. So they haven't been able to stop the pass, but they have stopped the run.
And some of those stats that we saw, because they're so far down in the numbers as far as what their ranking is within the Big Ten, is because of big passing numbers.
Brandon Williams was a shoelace away from having a huge return on the short pop-up kick. And as it is, Wisconsin with good field position will start at about their own 31-yard line on the money.
Purdue just trying to do a little pooch kick there. A lot of times that forces guys to think, do I back up to catch this? You never, ever back up. Brandon Williams, though, again, the threat that he is, wants the football. He sprints 20 yards to go catch that ball and turn it upfield. Booker
Stanley in the backfield with a slot from Bill Rentmeester now, who lines up in the offset eye. And Stanley gets a carry, running hard through the right side, carrying a tackler to the 35-yard line. So a good opening attempt there by Booker. It's just shy of the 35, a pickup of 4 on the play.
And Booker Stanley's a talented running back. He had a number of 100-yard games to the Badgers last year. He got dinged up a little bit, but when he runs very, very hard. He's got some tremendous power in his legs, much like for Purdue, Brandon Jones. He runs just as well. Adds a little bit of different twist to the Badger offense.
Bernard Pollard on the tackle, 2nd and 6. Stanley again, stutter steps, might have gotten the 35, a half a yard. It will bring up a third down. Badgers 2 of 4 on third down. This will be 3rd and 6.
One of the reasons Purdue has a tremendous defense that way against the run is they keep their shoulders square. They force everybody to bounce out, choose a direction where there's not a whole lot of daylight because they fill the gaps, and that's just from their front 4. Then you got their linebackers coming at you too, filling the open spots, and so when you do get down there, they're ready to meet you 2-3 yards down the road, which is why they have such a short yardage against them.
4 receivers set. Daniel slotted right, 2 receivers to the top and 1 to the bottom of the screen. Stocco will have time, now steps up. Is he going to run? He will, and he'll get the first down and tuck it under at the 44.
Pretty simple, just taking what they give you. Stocco, again, pocket, good protection initially, good coverage downfield where he can't find somebody open. He steps up in there and sees green, makes a decision to go and decides to go for it. When you see him run, you always get a little bit nervous because he doesn't slide feet first. He tends to go head first, and we saw him get dinged up a little bit earlier in the year, but a guy that can get out there and make the first down, knows what he needs, gets it, and gets down to run the next play.
And he had the option there. He had Jonathan Orr on a cross and took the wise choice there because he certainly had an easy go of it to run for the first down. Now steps up from the edge, under pressure, and down goes Stocco at the 36. It's a loss of 8 on the play.
Brandon Vinerill, they're coming in. Again, their front four is very, very good. Doing a tremendous job of collapsing the pocket around Stocko, forcing him to step in. That time, first guy to get to him, I guess, was number 49, Anthony Spencer for Purdue. But then other guys are coming in to finish him off. But again, Stocko's getting that pressure on him, getting hurried a little bit. That doesn't allow him to settle down his feet to be able to make a good throw.
Urbic got beat on the right edge, and that created the play for Purdue. Second and very long. Free play here. Oh, now they blow the whistle. And maybe that's a good thing, because unimpeded to the quarterback was coming Eugene Bright, and they blow the play dead. It will move it 5 yards forward in all likelihood, unless they believe that Wisconsin precipitated the defensive movement. They're going to bring in a side judge and have a brief discussion to make sure it wasn't against Wisconsin. It shouldn't be.
You want to get it right.
Offside defense, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. Still
Unabated. You know, I've never taken the time to look up unabated, but I don't know what it is. I went unimpeded, which I understand, but probably couldn't define either.
It's one of those lookout blocks when a lineman totally misses his guy that just turns around and yells to the quarterback, "Hey, look out!"
I always think unabated is how I fish, and I never catch anything. If you don't have anything going, you're unabated.
Yeah, you got to fish with my brother-in-law. You're guaranteed to catch nothing.
2nd and 13, and the swing near side to Booker. 3 defensive Boilermakers come up and knock him down at the 45, maybe the 46. It'll bring up a 3rd and about 9. So Wisconsin in another big 3rd down situation, 3 of 5 on the day. This one a bit longer. Again, this is the time where you look for Brandon Williams, look for Jonathan Orr, and you look for Owen Daniels. And the Badgers have been successful running screens in this type of a situation.
Very similar play that Brian Calhoun scored on his 27-yard touchdown catch. And Stanley getting outside there makes one man miss. And number 34, Kyle Williams, with a little sidestep, shows his quick feet, gets upfield.
3rd and 9. Stocko steps back over the middle. He's got Brandon Williams, and Brandon Williams has a first down.
Go-to guy for John Stocko starting out there was Owen Daniels, again, who got dinged up. It's become, over the last few weeks, Brandon Williams. Again, not a very big target. He's only 5'11", 175 pounds, but he's very sure-handed. Stocko knows where he is, and their timing is very, very good, and they've gotten better as the season's going along. He hits them square in the numbers. Williams makes the catch for a big first down.
He's got 2 catches for 40 yards on the day, or has caught 3 for 25. And the Badgers have completed, Stocko's completed passes to 5 different receivers on the day. Fake to Stanley, and now back and under pressure, and Stocko goes down hard. Bobby Uwachuku comes in and hits Stocko on a delayed linebacker blitz, and it's a loss of 10 on the play.
And that's one where Stocko has to recognize when he gets out there. As Stanley gets out there, he's open. He's got to go quickly to his checkdowns. And Posiak on that missed his block. A stunt inside. Posiak couldn't reach to him, and that sets him free, and Stocko had no chance to get rid of it.
Coming right in his face, John a little slow to react, and it's 2nd and 21. 2nd sack on this series of downs.
That's one where you got to feel that pressure coming. Either make a move to sidestep him or get rid of the ball.
Stocko from the shotgun. Goes near side. Calhoun knocked in the air and nearly picked off. And it may have been very well set up on the near side to the Badger junior Calhoun, who was holding in the flat with blockers in front.
That time they had the whole head of steam with him in front of him, a bunch of big guys in front. Daniels coming out there, but Stocko tries to jump, as you see there. Anytime you try and do that, pull it down a little bit. Those guys fake it, move around them, because they will react to the quarterback throwing. Sidestep him and then chuck it down there to Calhoun off on the sideline, let him run.
Rob Ninkovich knocks it away, and it's 3rd and 21. Daniel slotted left. Calhoun offset right. Stocko to Calhoun in the seam. He'll get some yards. It's shy of the 40 at about the 42, just past the original line of scrimmage, and it will give an opportunity for Ken DeBush to see if he can pin Purdue deep.
Calhoun just a little swinger out there by the running back. Purdue dropped off into a zone coverage. They only rushed 3 linemen, so you're almost guaranteed not to have pressure. Stocco hits him on a full head of steam ahead, but good coverage by the secondary and linebackers there to bring Calhoun down early.
See if Ken DeBush will get a better snap on his second try of the day, right at him. And DeBush sets it up. See if he'll get the bounce. Hangs it up, and it'll go to the 10. Very good punt again by Ken DeBush.
Good coverage again by the sprinters and the rest of the coverage team. What Purdue had on there was what they call punt safe. They leave their defense out there, just send a simple return man back, but the linebackers and defensive line are in there just in case it's a perfect spot for a fake in the middle of the field, and so they kept their defense out there.
Yeah, Nelly, all season long in our home games, this our 5th and 6th, we've been talking about some of the great memories at Camp Randall Stadium, and I distinctly remember this one, Ron Dane's final home game at the camp, and Matt LePage gives us the memory.
A magical day unfolded November 13th, 1999, when Wisconsin took on Iowa with a Big Ten championship on the line and college football immortality just 99 yards away. History was made in the first half when Ron Dane took the handoff late in the second quarter.
Any carry now could be for the record. Bollinger under his center. Casey Robach takes, gives it to Dane. Straight ahead. Dane across the 20. He's to the 25. Push right. Dane to the 30. 35. Dane across the 40. Dane across the 45-yard line. And there it is. Ron Dane has become the NCAA's all-time career rushing leader. The man of few words has rushed for more yards than anyone in Division I history.
With the rushing record in hand, the rout was on as the Badgers crushed the Hawkeyes 41-3. But no one left early as a stirring post-game ceremony followed. The Badgers accepted their 3rd Big Ten title and an invitation to the Rose Bowl under head coach Barry Alvarez. But one surprise remained for the man of the hour.
University of Wisconsin wants to have you take a look up here in the facade, how you will be remembered forever by the Badger fans of the University of Wisconsin.
The crowning of college football's all-time rushing leader, clinching a Big Ten title and Rose Bowl berth. Moving salute to the eventual Heisman winner. This day was truly one of Camp Randall's greatest memories.
You see the captains down on the sideline from that team, and including Chris McIntosh and Jason Doring down on the sidelines. And Purdue, 1st and 10 from their own 10-yard line. And the keeper by Painter had a lot of people fooled. It's a first down for the Boilermakers. Again, that somewhat spread offense option from the quarterback, who puts it in the belly of Gerard Boyd in that case and then keeps it on the outside.
And they've been selling it on the other plays that they've done, whether it's a pass play or whatever. He gets it in there and he hides it. The running backs do a tremendous job of covering up, acting like they have the football, and sets them free on the bootleg that way for off the backside.
So Purdue with a first down at their own 22, down by just 3. And again, Painter, this time in the seam, over on the post, knocked away by Roderick Rogers on a big hit.
Free safety Rogers playing man-to-man coverage on there. Simple job of covering down on his hip and recognizing when the quarterback throws, making a break, closing to the receiver, not just running parallel with him, but closing to him, making sure he hits him and makes perfect contact as the ball arrives. He's there to deliver a blow.
Probably could have been caught as well. It's dropped, and Rogers gets the assist. We got a report that Mark Zalewski is out for the game. So you see in the middle now, it's Neal playing linebacker for Wisconsin. Number 51, Joshua Neal, a freshman from Nashville. Painter on a handoff, and Boyd breaks one tackle. He's out near the 30, and it will bring up 3rd and 3.
That particular play, Josh Neal, the guy you just mentioned, number 51, he's out there. That's his particular role. He's got to move at his feet, called happy feet. Get him chopping to move. He started drifting to the outside. That left an opening on the inside. You'll see him slip off to the left-hand side, right at the lower part of your screen. That's right where the running back goes. That's where he's got to step up and fill.
We'll probably see a little bit more of Andy Crooks, another Wausau kid, as well in the middle. And Painter looks left side, quick throw on the money, and good for a first down on the sideline. It's caught by Kyle Ingram. 6'9", 228, 6'9" tall, with a catch and a first down. The junior from San Antonio had 29 catches for just under 400 yards coming into today.
He's going against Brett Bell, the Badgers' biggest defensive back, or defensive corner at 6 feet, but 9 inches is a heck of a thing to give away.
It is 1st and 10, ball at the 35. Offset backs. This time it's given. Boyd runs through the tackler, and he's got a first down. He ran right through Nick Hayden, I believe, knocked him to the deck, and gets a pickup of about 7 or 8 on the play.
I think he broke 2 tackles there through Hayden and then Watkins as well. And then he gets down to the secondary, just keeps his legs moving and lowers his shoulder, get positive yardage. And Stellmacher in the right place at the right time, get a break out there and bring him down. But he ran through 2 or 3 Badgers that way.
2nd and very short. Painter with a snap. He'll give to Boyd, and Boyd finding a void in the defense. Another first down out near the 49, and Purdue beginning to chalk up big chunks of yards on the ground and starting to take a bit of control of this ball game, even though they trail 10-7.
And they haven't gone on the outside a whole lot with the running game. They've been going right up the middle, challenging the interior line of the Badgers defense there, linebackers and the linemen both alike, and they've been gaining a lot of positive yards by doing that.
And Andy Crooks is at linebacker now in the middle. Painter from the shotgun. He'll keep it and pitch it near side. On the outside, Dorian Bryant getting a little help. And he's pushed to the 45-yard line. He got a push from behind. Getting a little assistance on that pickup by Garrett Miller, offensive tackle.
I think big old Garrett wasn't quite sure what to do when Dorian cut back to the inside. He just pushed him away a little bit to make sure he could keep getting up the field. But Stellmacher, realizing he's got the pitch man, got up there, forced him back inside where all the defensive pursuit came at him.
Now, who would have thought you would see that statistic on the lower left there? Rushing yards, 7 for Wisconsin, and we're inside of 5 minutes to go in the first half. Purdue dominating on the ground right now. Wisconsin leading on the board by 3. A nice stop of the line of scrimmage there by the left side. DeAndre Levy in on the tackle. Monty in there as well. And a loss maybe of a yard on the play.
Levy getting some more playing time, and Monty doing a good job of shedding the tackler, making the first initial contact, and Levy coming up to finish up. And again, Monty playing with a bum knee, but doing fundamental sound football to make sure he can close the gap where he needs to.
Purdue 5 of 6 on 3rd down. This is a 3rd and 4. Painter looks, waits, now throws late over the middle. Stellmacher with a big hit.
Great break by Stellmacher there. Tremendous job. Rogers trying to direct some traffic off the wide side of the field. Stellmacher just reading the quarterback, knowing where he's going to throw it because he didn't look, just looked him off a little bit, but read the eyes, came back, and does a good job of putting that helmet on the football and knocking it away.
Good view here, and Stellmacher with a big break and a big hit, and not able to hold on as Ingraham.
Painter wanted to go off to his left side there, but because of the check the number 22 Rogers made, wasn't able to, and that's where Stellmacher was able to make his play.
High wobbler, fair catch signaled for and caught by Brandon Williams at the 13. Let's see if Wisconsin can find some offensive rhythm. They've had some success in the air, but have not been able to run the ball yet. Brian Calhoun, 3 carries, 3 yards. Check out the Big Ten where we sit through the late portion of the afternoon. We know that the couple of games have already gone final. It was Michigan in overtime winning at Iowa City. Ohio State no problem in Bloomington. Michigan State gets hammered in East Lansing by Northwestern 49-14, and Penn State and Illinois play tonight. So as we sit with this game in progress and one game yet to be played tonight, let's check the Big Ten standings, where Wisconsin entered the day 3-1. They're there right now, tied with Penn State, who will play tonight. Ohio State, who has already won their bowl game. Northwestern has won. They're 3-1, and Iowa drops their second Big Ten game of the year. So it's a jumble up top. It's a stack. 4 deep at 3-1 right now. Wisconsin hoping to separate with a win here this afternoon.
And looking at that listing right there. We've got Penn State, they've got Iowa left, all sitting right there. It's kind of a jumbled mess right now. At this point, usually they call it Separation Saturday. I don't think that's happening in the Big Ten yet. You're going to have to wait another 2 or 3 weeks before a lot of that shakes out to find out who's really got the potential to win the Big Ten title this year.
You know, this can be one of those. Iowa had a chance at home in an overtime game against Michigan. This one certainly has a long way to go and a 3-point lead for Wisconsin right now. Badgers desperately know they need to have this one to stay in the title hunt. They'll stay on top of the league with a win, with a game next week at Illinois. And a lot of people who tend to point to the future, Nelly, thinking about those last 2 games.
Absolutely.
At Penn State and at home against Iowa.
And Penn State, obviously, they've got a tremendous thing going this year. They've struggled the last couple, but they got all cylinders clicking right now in Iowa, the place where Barry started his collegiate coaching career. It's going to be an emotional moment out here on that in a couple weeks when the Badgers come back and face the Hawkeyes.
Chris Presley lines up in front of Calhoun. See if Wisconsin tries to power. They'll come on a sweep to Calhoun. Cut back with a seam. He'll get the 18. No, make that the 13-yard line. Just a gain of 1 on the play. Credit Purdue's defensive front 7 for really bottling up the running attack so far.
This is a great shot. You see all their guys coming in. Shoulders are square. They're filling in the gaps where they need to, and then they can see where their running back is going. And when they make their cut, in this case Calhoun gets upfield, they're able to shed the blockers because they've got the perfect position on the offensive line across from them.
Brent Grover made a nice play on that one. It is 2nd and 9. And a single back, 3 receiver set. Calhoun gets the call on a quick hit left, and he'll get maybe a yard again. Another good play by Grover.
Grover and number 39, Kegler, they're both. Kegler was the guy, had he not hit Calhoun, I think Calhoun's running a long way because they were blitzing off the backside. Where the Badgers were running from, and if he had a chance to break through that one tackle, I think he's running for a long time. You see number 30 come off the right side. Calhoun there, big hole. Had he not been there, I think he's getting at least a first down, if not more.
Purdue takes a timeout, and Wisconsin faces a 3rd and 8, and the Badgers are just 4 of 7 on the day in 3rd down pickups. So give Purdue's defense, who has just been hammered all week in the press, and they've lost 4 in a row, and the defense has been criticized heavily for being the big culprit there.
Right.
And today, this defense of Purdue is playing like the defense that many thought they would be when the season began.
Yeah, and I think part of what they've been hammered on is, again, they put up a lot of yardage or given up a lot of yardage on their defense, but a lot of the teams have taken advantage of that through the air. They have a tremendous job, done a good job against the run each week. A couple big breaks, big runs from various players, but all in all, they've done a good job covering down. Today, they've done the same thing. They've given up 140 yards passing to Wisconsin and John Stocco. But the Badgers, their bread and butter is the running game, that power game, and right now Purdue's matching them one-on-one. Perfect job today.
John Stocco is 10 of 16 in the air for 140 yards and a touchdown. You'll need a completion here as you anticipate they'll go to the air 3rd and 8. 2:59 to play in the first half. Stocco under center, now drops straight back with time. Flushes up the middle. He's got room, and he will get very close and get the first down. Good decision by John Stocco, who is the game's leading rusher for Wisconsin so far, and a good decision here to get the first down.
You know, and Stocco takes a lot of flack from a lot of people that way, that he doesn't make good decisions, that he throws a bad ball, that he makes mistakes. But all in all, when you look at his entire career, he's lost 4 games in starting a year and a half, essentially. But recognizes what needs to be done. He's a competitor. You saw that by lowering the shoulder trying to get the first down.
And you saw him look to the sideline before he got there to see where the chains were.
Yep.
Good play by the junior. And stumbling, going back, ball tipped, intercepted by Purdue, and now a face mask as well. Purdue gets the interception. They'll get a face mask to boot, and the catch is made by Ninkovich on the pick. The ball batted at the line of scrimmage, and Purdue's got a great opportunity with the clock ticking down inside of 2.5 minutes in the first half.
That's a huge turnover on that part. It's a dumb play and trying to come over and tackle him by the face mask, but Stocco, I'm not sure when he backed out of the pocket there or from under center if he got stepped on by one of the offensive linemen or if he just tripped, but he's got to gather himself quickly because the pressure's coming at him.
I think you're right, Nelly. When he tripped, I don't think he ever got straight up again.
Nope.
So his throw is going to be low just by the nature of his body position. He never gathered himself
On the
before he got the
return,
ball away.
personal foul, face mask on Wisconsin. Half the distance to the goal. First down, Purdue.
It is a personal foul face mask, so it's a half the distance to the goal. You see, he never got stood up completely, and the ball batted by Brandon Villarreal. He's one of the captains. You saw the face mask initially, and then Ninkovich gets it inside the 20, and they'll mark it all the way down at near the 10-yard line after the face mask against Joe Thomas. There you see with a right-hand grab.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we could see that look again from that same look, if he got stepped on or not, but he never came back up. Or you're throwing against guys 6'3", 6'4", they'll knock that down every time. 1st
and 10, Purdue, just outside the 10-yard line, beginning in the red zone. Dorian Bryant steps into the backfield. They give it to him on the reverse. He's hemmed in and taken down. Matt Shaughnessy knocked him down, and then he got help on the defensive line as Newkirk jumped on top.
And Newkirk slips through there perfectly, gets through there, and Shaughnessy's coming free as well. And good job by both those guys to wrap him down. But it was, again, a play fake, a simple pass, but he comes back around, a lot of misdirection. But Newkirk gets out there, forces him back inside, and lets Shaughnessy clean up.
Shaughnessy with a great job in pursuit, coming all the way from the right defensive end. 2nd and 16. Hand off up the middle. The big man is Corey Sheets. He's down to the 7-yard line. 1:35 to play in the first half.
Again, Purdue attacking straight up the middle, going right at it, just right up the gut, forcing guys to get outside and inside, and linebackers aren't showing up right now. They're getting to the second level and blocking them as well, which forces your secondary to come up, and when that happens, it's a 6-7 yard gain for sure.
Purdue can get a first down. It would be just inside the 1-yard line. 3rd down here, 1:10 to play. From the shotgun. Painter on the option. He'll pull it back and look to throw. He comes near side, under pressure, nobody's open, he'll throw it away. And it brings up a 4th down. And Purdue will probably here look to tie the game up with a field goal attempt. It would be a short one, and it will come on the foot of Ben Jones, who now comes into the ballgame.
Again, early in the game, setting things up with the option, doing a little misdirection, and having Painter come back to the other side, but good recognition, good coverage, staying with their man downfield by the linebackers in the secondary, and good pursuit up front by the front 4 to force him to throw it away.
So Jones comes on. He's 3 of 6 this year. He's missed his only attempt from inside of 39 yards, but he'll make this one. And we are tied with 56 seconds to play in the first half. Game even at 10. I don't know that there are many that expected this game to go to the half with 20 points being scored, especially as much as Wisconsin has had offensive success and as poor as Purdue's defense has played. Purdue hasn't had trouble offensively either.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people probably thought each team would have had at least 20 at this point, not a combined, but on that particular series right there, a good job by the defense for Wisconsin, rising to the occasion, putting it in a tough spot after a turnover, after a penalty. They're down there and they're competing, and they forced them to only 3 points, which a lot of times is just as good as a stop.
Talk about a little Badger hockey as the weather turns colder. This weekend they're in St. Cloud. They will be back home on the 28th and 29th against Alaska Anchorage. And you can catch both games on Wisconsin Public Television with Aaron Sims and Ron Vincent. It's usually scheduled. Sometimes Benny gives way to others. Both games at 10:30 on Wisconsin Public Television, the 28th and 29th of October. Badger hockey and Mike Eves looking for some of their own magic this year as they continue to build the program back to the highest levels of all of college hockey.
Well, that was one of the trivia questions I think we had a couple weeks ago, was when did jump around start? And you're looking at folks doing a little shout right now and doing that, and that was, I think it was 98 when Purdue came here and Drew Brees threw 55 for 88, I think, an NCAA record, and they started that. And There's a lot of tradition, a lot of fun in this place. It was interesting to watch when they played the clip on Ron Dane and his record-setting run there against Iowa, how different Camp Randall looks just 6 or 7 years later, and how the pride is still here, but it's a different atmosphere. It's loud, it's electric, and the crowd's really into it today, and it's kind of fun to see that.
Yeah, it puts an age on me, Nelly, a little bit. I'm not worried about that. You, I worry about. Me, I'm not. But all those kids that are going to shout here and getting into that music a little bit, they were all 10, 12, 14 years away from being born when Animal House made that song just a cult song across the country.
That's true.
And it's held now since the mid-70s.
The good old Delta House.
Yeah. Kick will go to Williams at the goal line. Brandon's got a seam on the right to the 20 and the 25-yard line. Good job with coverage by Purdue, as that is a dangerous kick returner in Brandon Williams. Wisconsin has 51 seconds and the ball at their own 27-yard line. See what they decide to do offensively here. Let's make you, Scott Nelson, the offensive coordinator.
Well, you know, they're sending in a couple different guys, different receivers that aren't your normal guys. I got a feeling they're going to try and just get the ball to Calhoun, run it, go in safe, make sure that you secure the handoff without trying to do anything super fancy or super crazy, because you're in a position that's too close for Purdue. If something were to happen on a turnover, they're too close and they can capitalize.
Rentmeester, the up back, 51 seconds first half. And it is Calhoun. Tries to pop to the outside. Good moves inside. Great run to the right. He'll get near the first down. Dragged down from behind. A pickup of 8 on the play. That's by far his biggest offensive output of the afternoon. And I think Wisconsin's going to be content to let this one go. They haven't sent in a play yet with 30 seconds to play.
The fans want him to do that, but I'll tell you, Calhoun is electric. He's able to make people miss. He's quick. He's powerful, and he can run through some tackles that way, and he broke a couple, but gets to the outside.
Yeah, and I get the fans a little bit on this. Purdue is the worst defense in the country against the pass.
Absolutely.
You had all timeouts remaining. Now with 11 seconds, they'll be content to give it to Calhoun. Another time they'll pop to the outside and go out of bounds with 4 seconds. And we'll see whether Wisconsin will just take a knee now.
I tell you, with 50 seconds left, I agree with you. I think they ought to try and do something, and you got all 3 timeouts. Give it a shot, like you said, against a defense that's real, and try and go downtown once or twice on them and see what's happening. If you do throw it 40 yards downfield, odds are they're not going to be able to drive the other 60 coming back, and why not give it a shot? But Barry has been conservative, I think, in his entire career. I don't think he's ever tried to do something that flashy at the end of a half. Unless they've really needed to come back and win the game.
Well, they're in the take a knee formation, and that will end the first half. And there are some boo birds, and I think those are just because with a lot of fans here thought Wisconsin could take advantage of the 51 seconds and make a march to try and score. But we'll go to the half with absolutely nothing decided. It is Purdue 10, Wisconsin 10, and another half of football to come right here on Wisconsin Public Television. We are Miami.
5 years that changed the nation. 5 nights that changed television. PBS presents The Civil War, a film by Ken Burns, remastered and restored for a new generation.
Sunday night at 10 on Wisconsin Public Television.
For 90 years, this grave has held Titanic's unknown child. Now, Secrets of the Dead will tell you who he is.
The unknown child deserves to be known.
Cutting-edge forensics and DNA analysis are used to investigate the identities of the victims. Secrets of the Dead.
Tuesday night at 8 on Wisconsin Public Television. You're watching Wisconsin Public Television.
Presentation of Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television is made possible in part by Goodman's Jewelers. John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers, proud of the tradition started by Robert and Irwin Goodman. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933. News Talk 1310 WIBA AM and ESPN 1070. The Badgers play here. The Mendota Gridiron Club. the official fundraising organization for University of Wisconsin football. University Athletic Department, with official information about Badger athletics on the web. The Wisconsin Alumni Association, connecting, enriching, and serving UW-Madison alumni and friends for more than 140 years. UWalumni.com. And by the Badger Fund, the Wisconsin Athletic Department's annual fundraising program, 14,000 donors, supporting 750 Badger student athletes.
All right, I'm back at Camp Randall Stadium, and a start of the second half is just moments away. I'm Mike Keller along with Scott Nelson. First half, a bit of a surprise. It is more of a defensive battle than some might have expected. And tied at 10-10, I guess the biggest surprise, Nelly, to me, is that Wisconsin has not been able to run the ball at all.
Yeah, I think you look at the two stats. We're passing the ball, they're running the ball, as opposed to the other way around. And I think that's what we probably would have looked at going into this game. But Calhoun hasn't been able to get on track. Stocko is the leading rusher for the Badgers, which to me is a shock. But they're giving some things up in the middle there, and Calhoun's got to get on track. We saw a little flash of it at the end of the first half here. See if he can carry that over into the second now.
Let's look at the first half highlights in this one. Just a couple of touchdowns and a field goal for each in the first half of this one. A couple of looks at each. Badgers got on the board with their first possession. Stocko goes to the left flat, and Brian Calhoun, with some help, goes the rest of the way. Matt Lawrence with a great block down the field here, Nelly.
Yeah, tremendous job. Calhoun set him up perfectly. Stocko, again, just a simple pass to the out there, and Calhoun doing what he does so well once he gets the ball.
And Purdue countered, and it was their first time start for a quarterback. It's Curtis Painter on a quarterback draw, who does a good job of picking his spot right here, beating Andy Crooks and getting to the end zone. And we are tied at the half. And as Nelly mentioned, if we came back on camera there, it is really a game of identical but opposite stats. Purdue is able to run the ball. Wisconsin is able to throw the ball. Nearly all other elements of the game so far have been even.
Yeah, and the turnovers, one fumble for us, one interception for Purdue. Penalties, even though they have 4 out of 35, the Badgers just have one, really hasn't had any impact on the game. And again, I think part of the reason that we're not seeing a whole lot from the Badgers is their front seven is very, very good. A lot of the guys came back from same team from last year are back, and they're playing very aggressive, and they're challenging. And their running game is going right at the heart of the Wisconsin defense, where we've lost some guys that really we need out there to be able to have the impact that they have. Ostrowski's out there, but he's very, very green as far as this year is concerned, and you're seeing some creases that they've been able to get.
And Mark Zalewski, one of the team captains for Wisconsin, also the second leading tackler on the team, is out for the game. I watched him walk to the tunnel at the end of the first half, and he is going very slowly on his right leg. So we don't know the nature of the injury, as is the case with college football and college athletics as a whole now. But Zalewski will not return, and Andy Crooks and Joshua Neal are filling the spot and linebacker for Wisconsin. Purdue starts the second half with the ball. The kick is deep to Bryant, who will keep it in the end zone. Another touchback for Taylor Melhoff. And Purdue will start at the 20-yard line.
It'll be important for the Badger defense now to come out here and establish themselves here right of the way in the beginning of the second half. They struggled a little bit in the first half. Purdue did some things that got some big plays, some key third down conversions for them. They got to come out here now that they've got a little rest after halftime here and really take it to them.
Hayden, Monty, Newkirk, and Shaughnessy, the defensive line for Wisconsin. And it is Andy Crooks at one of the interior linebacker positions taking the spot of Zalewski. And a hand that comes near side. Again, a quarterback option and a good fake by Painter, who is carried under by Stellmacher, who steps up well to make the play, maybe a pickup of 2.
And Stellmacher, that's his responsibility as a safety, to fill up in the alley, take the quarterback, let your outside guy, either another safety or in this case a corner, get to the pitch man. They cover down the pitch. Stellmacher fills in the alley to bring him down.
And as you mentioned early in the game, Scott, Purdue does not huddle. This is their offensive look. They call the play near the line of scrimmage and get ready and go. Not hurry up, but no huddling for the Boilermakers. Painter, quick set right side, intercepted. Great interception on the corner by Jack Ikaguanu. In the NFL, it's a touchdown. In college, it's Wisconsin ball at the 27 with a tremendous break on the ball. Scott.
Great break, great interception. His excitement, he gets up and takes it back to the end zone just to celebrate with the fans a little bit. But reads the quarterback, makes a tremendous break on the inside, ducks in underneath the receiver there, brings it in for his second interception on the year. But like we just said, they got to start fast. They got to set themselves up. They got to establish themselves here right away in the second half, and they did that. Great job by Ikuguano.
Second turnover of the day for Painter, one on a fumble, this one on the interception. Somewhat telegraphed that quick hit from the inside on the right, and Ike reads it well. First down, Wisconsin at the 27. Brian Calhoun is in the backfield, but it's Calhoun to throw it to Stocco, and he dropped it. John Stocco dropped it. He's gonna read about that one. He's gonna dream about that one. He's going to be hit on that one hard when they watch films, right?
He will. I think he's gonna go back in the huddle, and Calhoun's gonna look at him. Are you kidding me? Said, how hard can that be? I hit you right in the hands, and maybe that's his trouble. You don't know, but they sold it. Stocco got out there. Calhoun threw it to him perfectly. I think he just looked down at the guy coming from the middle there as opposed to catching the ball first and running, just like you tell your running backs and receivers do. Catch it first, then run. Stocco felt the pressure coming down.
It would not have been a touchdown, but it would have gotten down to the 10-yard line. And there you see Calhoun's reaction. He thought he had a touchdown initially. It'll be funny if Wisconsin can score off the drive. If not, it will be a huge lost opportunity, and Calhoun loses 2 on the pitch left.
Yeah, they just got to get back in the huddle, regroup real quickly here now at third down, and they got to get some positive yardage. Got to try and get that first down with 12 yards to go. But that was a big play. You can't focus on that now. Regroup, get back up there, and start moving forward again.
Yeah, Calhoun looks a little frustrated, doesn't he, on that sprint draw left? He's got 8 carries for 14 yards today. That's not a Brian Calhoun day.
Yeah, he's frustrated on 2 fronts. One, that Stocco dropped that, and that he hasn't been able to get on track. They've been covering down on him very well.
Ball's at the 29, 3rd and 12. With time, now stepping up and then getting dragged down. So it's a sack all the way back to the 33, and now it would be a field goal of more than 50, so they'll bring out Ken DeBush to hold and Melhoff to try it. It'll be about 50 yards. Melhoff on the season is 10 of 12, and he's 0 for 1 from 50 to 59. So this will be his second attempt.
There's not much wind down there, but it is blowing left to right, so this will be in his favor. But again, there's not much wind down there.
Ninkovich gets the sack. That's his second today. The snap is good. The hold is down. The kick has plenty of leg. No, it's short. It was short and wide right. Melhoff, who can certainly hit it from that distance, looks to have mishit that one, popped it up a little bit. When you're kicking it that long, it's got to be a lower line drive, and that one had too much air.
Yeah, too much air in it. I tell you, the Badgers right now, Craig Urbeck has beaten a couple different times off the corner there, and we've mentioned names of many different defensive linemen for Purdue, but they got some pressure. Stocco couldn't get out of it. You come out, you think your kicker's ready to go. He's still a little cold from sitting around at halftime. They got to be ready to go just like everybody else, and just didn't quite get the foot right on the ball where you need to. Like you said, a little bit lower to get the distance out of that.
Scott, Wisconsin has had 2 opportunities off of turnovers. One on a fumble from Painter, one on an interception from Painter, both inside the Purdue 40-yard line, and no points out of either opportunity.
Yeah, and that's huge, and especially in the Big Ten, those opportunities don't come that often. You've got to get, for sure, 3 out of it, but you got to get something, and both times, like you said, the Badgers come up with 0.
See Barry Alvarez on the sideline. He is the athletic director. The former athletic director is Pat Richter, who had such a great athletic career here at Wisconsin, and equally great athletic director tenure at Wisconsin. And Matt LePay looks at the playing career of Pat Richter.
From 1960 to 1962, Madison native Pat Richter became a true hometown hero as a 2-time All-American end for the Badgers. A member of Wisconsin's 1962 Big Ten championship team, Richter finished his Badgers career holding every UW receiving record, including marks for career receiving yards, receptions, and touchdowns. Enshrined in the College Football Hall of Fame, Richter is one of the greatest Badgers ever and a prominent part of the Camp Randall legacy.
And the former AD down on the sideline. and taking his bow to the crowd here today. And I think as great as his athletic career was, and he was a two-sport star, probably by all rights more than two sports for what he did here at Wisconsin in mainly football, basketball, but just a great athlete. I think his AD legacy will overshadow his wonderful athletic career because he brought in Barry Alvarez, and he brought in Dick Bennett, and he brought in Bo Ryan, and that legacy and the environs that Wisconsin now works in athletic buildings,
right.
the upgrade to the Camp Randall, the Kohl Center, all of the other elements, all are due in part to Pat Richter.
Yeah, and he's done a tremendous job. He's carried that forward. Facilities, coaches, like you said, he's given I think he was an advocate for the student athlete. Very smart man, graduated in landscape architecture, became a lawyer, played for the Redskins, worked his way up at Oscar Mayer as well as an executive there before he came to Wisconsin. Very smart man, very quality person. I think, like I said, he had his heart and mind in the right place. Obviously, coming back to your alma mater is big, but caring about and fighting for the student athlete was key for him, and a tremendous person. Did a lot for this university.
Gerard Boyd got a pickup of a couple on that play. It is 2nd and 7. It's a beat-up Badger defense, and see if they can hold on here. It's a 10-10 game, holding on to get a stop. Painter looks to throw right side. Ike Blonner on the break again. It's underthrown and incomplete. And Painter has a strong arm, Scott, but it appears he's a little slow to get rid of it, and that will give opportunities.
Yeah, when you watch his windup, it's not really, he's got the ball down low, so it takes him a while to wind up and get it out there. If he's got it up by his shoulder, as strong as his arm is, he can release it a lot quicker, but he keeps the ball too low to be able to fire out there when the guy is open.
3rd and 7 and a big defensive opportunity. 3-man rush, no pressure. Painter looks right sideline. It is caught in front of the Purdue bench. Coming out of the heap on the sideline is Andre Chatham's, senior from Dayton. Just did get a foot down.
I think number 22, Roderick Rogers for the Badgers on coverage over there. And the official came over. He's walking right down the sideline. Perfect position to make the call, and I think he made the right call.
He
just
certainly
did. Get it in. Yep.
Great job by Chatham's and an equally good throw by Curtis Painter. It is 1st down, Purdue at the 46. And Painter with the option right. He's got an opportunity. Cuts it inside of the midfield strike. And to the 47-yard line, maybe the 46. And Purdue begins to take some of the air out of this place in a 10-10 tie. They've kept the 80-plus thousand people here pretty quiet.
Yeah, and as you look, Stellmacher's kind of caught out no man's land, but he's got one responsibility, and that's the pitch guy. Somebody's got to come in. Usually the other safety, or again, the linebacker, has to cover down on the quarterback. They were late in getting there. He faked the pitch, and Painter turns upfield for a big gain.
2nd and 2. Painter to Boyd. Boyd is going to be held up shy of the 1st down. Good hit and hold on the left edge. Nick Hayden, one of those in there, joined by Ware. And they'll stop him short of the 1st down, bring up a big 3rd and 2.
And this is one the Badger defense has to have. We talked about in the first drive. They got to come up and establish themselves. They got a turnover. They've been giving up big plays on 3rd down conversions. Purdue 6 out of 9 right now. Here's another one, 3rd and 2. Badgers have to find a way to stop them here. Get the momentum back on their side. Get their offense out. Let the defense rest a little bit.
So a big chance again. Painter from the shotgun. Split backs in the backfield. Takes the snap. He'll keep it on the option, and a huge hole. And if he doesn't trip himself up, he'll get another 5 yards out of that. It's an easy 1st down for the Boilermakers, and they are at Wisconsin's 36, knocking on the door to take the lead.
Trying to take the lead, number 24. Watkins has the pitch man. Again, nobody for the quarterback on Curtis Painter. He turns upfield, and way to go. And looked like John Palermo down on the sideline. Kurt Ware ducks inside, tells him, hey, you got to stay upfield. You got to force everything back inside. You cannot let him go.
That's an assignment error by Ware. And it's 1st down, Purdue. Painter wants to throw, wants it all, deep right sideline. Offensive interference is going to be the call. It's incomplete, and it's a good flag. I hope it's a good flag. It seemed to be rather obvious that Kyle Ingram pushed off.
There's no reason why that should be defensive pass interference. Iguano's in perfect position, forces the defense, or forces the offensive player to go over the top.
The offense, 15-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
That's really a good throw by the young quarterback Painter. The only guy that can catch that ball is his receiver. He threw it right on the sideline and high, going for Ingram, who's 6'9".
And there's no reason Ingram, when he's going against Iguano, who's 6 foot, that he can't out-jump him that way. He shouldn't be pushing off that way, but good position by the official back there, made the right call. Good camera work for us to be able to see that.
Well, and it's a big play because it's a 15-yard call, so it makes it 1st and 25. And back inside their own territory at the 49 is Purdue. Painter looking on the middle, gets his man on the cross. Bell steps in and makes the hit and knocked down at the 42. Pass is complete to Hare, the senior from Arlington Heights, Illinois. Had just 2 catches on the season coming into today.
Badgers secondary is a man-to-man coverage, and any time that you have an inside receiver that way doing a crossing route in man-to-man coverage, a lot of times you'll have a linebacker on one side and a safety or somebody coming on the other side, and they check down. If he crosses a route, the linebacker needs to pick him up, and in that case they didn't cover down.
It's 2nd and 16. Handoff goes to Boyd. He's hit by Sanders, plugged up in the hole. It's going to be 3rd and long, and good linebacking play from Dante Sanders, who's the team's leading tackler.
Sanders filled nicely up in that gap. Ostrowski, who hasn't played up until this game, obviously does a nice job of standing this guy up, filling in the hole where the running back wanted to go. Sanders jumps in there and cleans him up.
It's 3rd and 14. Ostrowski and Gino Cruz, the 2 defensive tackles, both go over 300. Badgers will rush 4. Painter with some time, now flushes out, gets it on the right edge, caught and taken down by Crooks. It'll bring up 4th down and about the 33-yard line. So Purdue faces the exact same situation Wisconsin was in a few minutes ago. Do you try the 50-yard field goal? Do you punt it? Do you go for it?
You know, looking at the way that Badgers try to kick a 50-yard field goal, this time you're into the wind a little bit. They're going to give it a shot. It's a risky call, but I tell you, it's a great defensive stand by the Badgers there, pinning them back, finally getting some pressure on the quarterback, stopping the run a couple different times, starting to get a little bit more momentum on the defensive side for Wisconsin. But this is a big play right here. They got to get pressure up in front.
Ben Jones long is 47. Is that one there? It is. It climbed over the crossbar and inside the right upright. Ben Jones, his career long, 50 yards, and it is Purdue 13, Wisconsin 10.
There you can see the difference between what Melhoff did for the Badgers, his high kick, compared to this one, a little bit more of a low line drive kick, but almost got blocked. Good surge up front by the Badgers. Arms are out there, almost got blocked, but you can see it's much lower, going much more like a line drive in baseball. It just barely clears the bar.
Give Ben Jones and Purdue credit on that one. Does he know it's there? Does he know it's there? He does right at the end. That's a big play in this ball game. That's a long kick, and it puts Purdue on top 13-10. And a Boilermaker team that has lost 4 in a row. This is a team that on September the 19th, Scott, Purdue was the number 11 ranked team in the country. Some publications preseason picked them number 1 in the country before the season began. They started the year number 15, got as high as number 11, then have lost 4 in a row. But it's a team today that as long that they hang around, the greater their opportunity to win.
Yeah, their defense is playing very well. Their offense is getting some big plays when they need them. They've got, obviously, a talented group of ball players on both sides of the ball. They wouldn't have had those preseason picks even early into the season. They wouldn't have been ranked that way. But this is a team, like we talked even at halftime a little bit, the longer Wisconsin lets them stick around, the more excited, the more enthusiastic they're going to be. They're away from home, but this is a place, if you can win on the road in the Big Ten, that you can springboard your season the rest of the way. And they've got some games down the road that they'll be able to win if they springboard off this. Much like last year, their season went in the tank after Wisconsin beat them. If they can come back and beat Wisconsin here, that's a springboard for the rest of the way.
It's going to have another finish here today. Wisconsin's been involved in nothing but finishes all year, it seems. You had Michigan here. You had a Northwestern one down in Evanston that went the wrong way. Big finish at Minnesota a week ago. Yeah, the finish that we talked about earlier with the game against Michigan here. Purdue has had a bunch of close calls. In their last 22, 4.2 points. The difference in as the average dating back to 2001, and 19 of their 22 losses in that time have come by an average of 4 points.
That's half the fun of the Big Ten, is that everybody at any given time can beat anybody no matter what position you are in the conference.
Brandon Williams going to chase this one 3 yards deep, and he'll make the wise choice. The Badgers somewhat expected a pooch. Williams lined up at about the 12 and then had to catch that one on the fly 1 yard deep in the end zone. Zach Hampton telling him to stay there, and the Badgers do just that. Will start at their own 20. Yeah. It's just been an inefficient day running the football. Calhoun has 8 carries for 14 yards, and Wisconsin is going to have to. They're going to have to just decide to do it in the air, which Barry doesn't like, but that's the way it is.
Well, they haven't been able to get anything on. The first time I think we've seen Chris Bresley in the game lineup at fullback, so maybe they're going to try and establish something here, but they haven't been able to get it on track so far today. Calhoun
off the left edge, might get 2. Purdue has done a good job there all day, and again, it still comes back to this, Scott. If Wisconsin is going to win at this point, I believe they've got to do it in the air. Purdue is the worst pass defense in the country, and as much as Barry and this Wisconsin team, as is their MO, would like to establish the ground game, you might have to just be resigned to getting it done in the air.
When they showed that in the first couple of series of the game, they can get behind guys, they can get people open, and they've gone away from some of the 3-person trips bunch that they've had over on the side and gone a little bit more of their routine stuff. But I think you're right. They got to get back to that, because some of the misdirection, the crossing routes that they did, really messed up the linebackers and the defensive backs for Purdue, and they've gotten away from that a little bit.
You know, one of the things that when you're not being able to rush the football that well, the screen passes don't tend to work as well.
Right.
And in that case, they get maybe a yard on the screen, and it's 3rd and 7. You've got to take some of that momentum off the Purdue sideline, and even with 22 minutes left in the ball game, this plays itself out as a rather big play in this football game.
This is a must-have 3rd down conversion for Wisconsin.
Stocco has time, and he missed his man. He had Jonathan Orr on a cross, and he misses the mark. It's 3 and out for Wisconsin, and Purdue begins to grow in their excitement on the opposite sideline.
Yeah, Stocco's front guys and Calhoun picked up the blitz nicely. Just a misfire. That would have been a first down had he been able to connect with them, but he's got to trust those guys up front. They did a great job picking up the crossing stunt. He just got to step into the throw and hit the guy right in the numbers, and he didn't do that.
And Ken DeBusch has come up big all year. He would love to get a big one here. He'll hit it at about the 12-yard line for Wisconsin. The line of scrimmage is the 24. Line drive, and it turns over, but it will be caught at the 30-yard line. They fake the reverse on the return, and finally knocked down at the 40-yard line is Purdue, but with outstanding field position and a 3-point lead. And, Scott, this stadium has been very, very quiet today.
And rightfully so. They haven't really given them anything to cheer about. The defense did this last series where they got out there and had a good stand. Mike Iguano forcing the pass interference call in position to make an interception. The defense did a nice job, but the offense came out 3 and out, and you can't continue to do that. You've got to get some yardage, positive yardage. You got to make some plays to get 80,000 fans into this thing, because without them, it's going to be a long afternoon.
Let's go to our look at trivia for the day. And this is one of those few times, Ellie, where I don't know that you saw it. Well, maybe you did see this.
I didn't see the answer.
No, I'm sure you didn't. When is the last time that Wisconsin beat both Michigan and Purdue in the same season? Already they have beaten Michigan right here at Camp Randall a few weeks ago. But can they beat Purdue today? Don't answer the question. No, I don't want you to answer it now. I don't want you. In fact, would somebody kill Nelson's mic before we come back to the answer? I want to tell you that coming up in 3 weeks from tonight, it is Wisconsin and Iowa. Saturday, November the 12th, the Big Ten finale. Will it be for a Big Ten title? It won't if Wisconsin can't turn the tides here. That game is right here on Wisconsin Public Television, 10:30 on Saturday, November 12th. The Badgers and the Hawkeyes do that.
See the information that we get pregame. They didn't put it on there for me this week, so I can't cheat.
So the question was this: when is the last time that the Badgers beat both Michigan and Purdue in the same season? Scott Nelson, they've kept your mic on, so you'll have a chance.
I think the only thing I can go back to is my senior year in 1993. That's the only time I can recall that.
1993, Wisconsin won the Big Ten title and the Rose Bowl that season in the year they beat Michigan and Purdue, the last time they've done it in the same season.
That was a guess. I wasn't sure how many times. Yeah, it was. I swear.
Come on, Nelly.
We've had, how many home games have we had? This is 6? 5?
Scott, I mean, Wisconsin has beaten Michigan, about 5 times in the last 20 years?
Yes, well, it was either 93 or 94 as the last time they beat them.
Yeah, Purdue now with a big offensive opportunity at their own 41, leading by 3.
Well-educated guess.
Very good. Painter looks to throw, has time, goes deep, up top. It is incomplete. Oh, that would have been a touchdown. That was a great throw. He put it right on the hands of Brian Hare, and he couldn't pull it in. What a throw from Curtis Painter.
Brian Hare streaking down the field. Perfect throw, like you said, right on the money. Tips it with one hand. Couldn't quite get out there with both of them, but tips it. Plays a little volleyball with it back and forth, but tremendous job of being patient in the pocket there and unleashes it down there. Got behind Bell, got behind number 22, Roderick Rogers, but he tapped it, couldn't bring it into his chest, and like you said, it would have been a touchdown and it'd be no haul it in.
He's got to go up with 2 hands to get this ball, doesn't he?
Well, I think he's running, trying to get as far downfield as he possibly can, and didn't bring the other one up there, but he had every chance to get both of them up there.
Corey Sheets up the middle, picks up 4. It's 3rd and 6.
You get a senior out there, he's obviously got some speed. Brett Bell is pretty quick. Rogers is pretty quick for the Badgers in the secondary there. Got behind him again, which is an area that the Badgers have been vulnerable in. His guys getting behind him, Michigan and North Carolina, they didn't make the catch, just like they were with Purdue. The Badgers got lucky with that. In the game they lost against Northwestern, they were able to make those plays.
The crowd gets into it a little bit. 3rd and 6, big play. Painter, right flats, Sheets with a first down, steps inside of Sanders to the 40-yard line. What a great play there, designed for Corey Sheets. Out of the backfield, missed assignment, wide open, first down, Purdue.
A big missed assignment. A lot of times those running backs can hide in behind the linebacker, or they're a lineman. The linebackers lose sight of them. Sanders should have been out there covering man-to-man coverage like the rest of the defensive backs and the linebackers were doing. He just lost sight of him trying to track him behind that big offensive line.
I believe that's probably on Dontez Sanders. It is a first down for Purdue. And that's Boyd. Boyd might get a couple on the play. 2nd and 8.
The crowd, like we heard the first series of this half, started getting in with the defense again. A big play again that Purdue's been able to go the entire game with on 3rd down. They're 8 out of 12. A lot of times you try and keep a team at around 30% as far as their 3rd down conversion. The Badgers are nowhere near that today.
2nd down at 8. Ticking down to the 5-minute mark here in the 3rd quarter. Boilermakers, losers of 4 straight. Winless in the Big Ten. Trying to pull an upset here. Deep over the middle, picked off. Rogers gets up in the air. He's at the 20. Waiting for blocks to the 30. To the sideline. He's got room. Roderick Rogers is going to go to the house. Touchdown, Wisconsin. No flags.
I'll tell you what, You could tell a guy that's had some offensive experience in high school because he caught that ball perfectly, made a couple blocks downfield for him, made a couple cuts on his own, streaking down the sideline, but tremendous play. The offense, the last couple weeks, has carried this team. Today, the defense is stepping up, making turnovers and making big plays, for sure in the second half when they need him, but he's in perfect position, reads the quarterback. Painter doesn't even see him, throws it right to him, and he does the rest, takes it to the house.
Initially, I thought that was going to go for a touchdown the other way, and what happened is Painter just didn't get enough air under it, and Rodgers really got up in the air.
Yeah, he
had
did.
some good ups to get up there, because otherwise, and he made a risky play, because if he doesn't get up there, if there's some air, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, he
for
got
Purdue.
caught. He got caught a little flat-footed there. You're right, Mike, and he did make it an educated guess, as we just did a little bit ago ourselves, but a little bit underthrown, a little bit low. Painter just sets it out there, but Rodgers caught flat-footed again as the receiver goes past him. But again, tremendous job in recognition, being in the right place at the right time. And as you see, they're making some moves, catching some key blocks downfield and taking it to the house. A great job by the Badger defense.
Well, and a great job on the return by Rodgers to wait for a couple of blocks. That's just a huge play. He did have Dorian Bryant deep if he puts some air under it. But a couple of good blocks here, and then Roderick Rodgers is pretty darn fast. He turns it on, the junior from Stone Mountain, Georgia. His third interception of the year, but his first touchdown at Wisconsin.
That was a great play. He's got a couple of guys running down the field with him to celebrate. Big key blocks, like you said. His cutback really forced a big muddle at the middle there, and what that did is that created a spot where he could break free, and all their skill guys and speed guys got caught up in that mess.
Short, high kick, Bryant at the 10. He is dangerous. To the 23. Badgers with a good job on coverage, and Purdue will start inside their own 25.
Big block there by number 32, Jared Boyd, running back for Purdue on number 7. DeAndre Levy, who's got to keep his head on a swivel to see what's coming. That sent him right onto his backside there on a block that sprung him forward for about another 10 yards or so. But that's one of the things as a freshman you learn pretty quickly on special teams. You better know where you're going and who's going to try and block you, because if you don't, you get clocked like that pretty clean.
Well, Wisconsin has come up with a couple of huge defensive plays now in back-to-back seasons. Not that this one ends this game by any stretch, but you remember late in the game with about 2.5 minutes to play last year in West Lafayette. That was Scotty Starks, and almost picked off on the near side. Defensive lineman almost getting the tip. In fact, Brandon Kelly had a chance at that. What a great athletic play that was by Kelly. He couldn't quite pull it in. There you see it, and he gets a second and third opportunity there.
Earlier in the game, John Palermo said, if you're coming off the edge, you get blocked like that, look at the quarterback, see where he's looking, and get your hands up. Almost brought it in for his own interception, first of his career.
2nd and 10. Curtis Painter going to throw it on the sprint near side, in the air, high for Dorian Bryant, and incomplete. As I was talking, last year was Kyle Orton who got hit on the rollout in which Purdue would have ended the game with a first down,
right.
And it was Scotty Starks, the game-changing play of the year in college football a year ago. This one might not qualify there, but for Roderick Rodgers and Wisconsin, that is a huge play.
Still a huge play. 3rd down and 10 for Purdue. The Badgers got to step up one more time, get the offense back out there. You know they've got the momentum now, but I tell you, this is where a young quarterback, a sophomore and Painter, this is where he can get around a little bit. He's never been in this situation before, and the defense has got to keep coming at him.
It's a quarterback draw. Painter will be short. He's taken down by DeAndre Levy, and it's short of the first down. Purdue will punt.
That call's been working for Purdue all day long, getting some big chunks of yardage on that. That time Levy recognized what it was, shed his blocker, and came over to make the tackle. Good play, good recognition by the defense.
So the Boilermakers will put a foot into it, you would assume, with 3:45 to play here in the third. Left-footed wobbler. Going to come down at about the 40. Takes a bit of a Purdue hop and roll to the 37-yard line. but it will provide an excellent opportunity for the Wisconsin offense to maybe throw another nail in Purdue's coffin. You've got an opportunity here against a Purdue defense that's been pretty good today, but pretty bad all year, to maybe demoralize them here with a drive.
Yeah, they've got to get something going here offensively to keep the crowd in, to keep the momentum on their side. They can't give it back to Purdue again because they keep hanging around like we said before. They're too potent to get things done, and the Badgers have got to sustain a drive here offensively. They haven't been able to get on track in the first 12 minutes of this third quarter.
It's not something we've seen from the Wisconsin offense all year. Scoring and moving the ball has not been a problem. They'll go deep or on the near side. Out and up is complete on the sideline.
That time Stocco hits Ord like he missed him on the last time, but Ord does a great job getting down the sideline, knowing where he's at, and adjusting to the football. Ends up backpedaling to make the catch, but Stocco puts it in the spot where only Ord can catch it. He comes up with a big play and a huge first down.
It's good for 27 yards, and the huge play here is that Stocco has enough time to throw it, even in a blitz package for Purdue, to allow the double move. It's 1st and 10 Badgers at the Purdue 36-yard line. Calhoun, reverse, Jarvis Minton, nowhere to go, hemmed in, tackled at the 40-yard line. Good defensive play by Purdue on the reverse, and again it's Ninkovich, and we've called his name quite a number of times today. He has been very good.
Yeah, Ninkovich is a very quality football player. He's a senior. He recognizes he gets inside Owen Daniels. Owen Daniels tries to cover down, let Minton make a move around him, but he is too good a ball player to let that happen too. And Ninkovich plays sound fundamental football, which means when you're the backside end, you stay home just in case of that reverse. That time he was able to make the play.
2nd and 14. Badgers line up with Calhoun. Offset blitz coming. Over the middle, Calhoun. He's got it at the 20. Great move. Touchdown, Wisconsin. How good is Brian Calhoun? Bottled up on the ground all day. Here he'll get it done in the air. His 2nd touchdown of the day.
I tell you, people have been waiting to see that for a long time out of Brian. He's made some big plays, but Calhoun facing pressure, coming straight up the middle, right at him again, realizes what it is, knows where he wants to go. Calhoun takes it, goes to the house. A great move there. He's picking up his jock on the way as Calhoun goes by, scores 6 points. Great play.
The extra point is good. I believe it's Brandon Whittington, a former wideout, who is left grasping at air on the incredible, that's a broken ankle move by Calhoun, who gets into the end zone. And what a dramatic turn of events in the last 3 minutes of this ball game.
I tell you how exciting for Calhoun. He's been waiting to do that. Here you see the pressure coming right at Stocco and getting clocked. Calhoun, simple catch again, as he's been able to do, and then a great move to get upfield and score the touchdown. He's too fast for those guys to catch up to. But I'll tell you, Stocco having the patience to get in there, taking a huge, huge hit right there, puts a ball right on the money, right where he needs to, and realizes, hey, this is what it's all about. This is some fun, and he's having fun. He's celebrating and enjoying his teammates going down there and scoring.
Stanford Kegler unloaded on Stocco, but to John's credit, nobody's ever questioned his toughness.
Yep.
He has hung in there and taken some big hits. That's a 3-play, 63-yard drive in 53 seconds. It's certainly not over, but from down 13-10 to up 24-13 in about 2 minutes of game action is a big turnaround.
Yeah, and like we just said right before that, they got to get something going, and even though it's only 3 plays, it's huge for this crowd. They've been waiting to get behind this offense and support these guys. The defense has done a good job in this second half. They finally gave them something to get after, and that does nothing but get the motor running even more for the defense to get off the field and let the offense keep going at it.
And that other sideline is maybe subconsciously been waiting for something bad to happen, and they got 2 bad things in a row. And a team that's lost 4 in a row, when they have those types of things happen to them, we'll see if they have the mental toughness to hold it together. A lot of times at this age group and this level of play, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think they got a little something left in them, but you're right. When they start taking a pounding like this, 2 quick scores that way, creasing the defense, you said it at the beginning of the second half, the Badgers have to pass. That's how they got through that drive. Big pass to Orr, big pass to Calhoun, 6 points, tremendous job.
First down for Purdue at the 20 as Melhoff tucked it into the end zone on the kickoff. Hand off to Boyd. Nothing in the middle. Badger defense jacked up. Nick Hayden in on the stop. Matthew Shaughnessy in the middle. Andy Crooks stepped in. It's 2nd and 10.
This is where you start to see the guys again. They got creased a bunch of different times in the first half, started the third quarter here as well. They're starting to play a little bit tighter with their shoulders square. Crooks is filling in. Sanders is making some plays. Watkins coming off the corner. Again, Monty playing sound fundamental football because he is hurt, but he's able to get in there and wreak some havoc in there.
Badgers change up the defensive call. Now Painter on the pitch option right. He gets it to Boyd. Boyd gets the 24. Matthew Shaughnessy. You know, a week ago he had about 85 snaps in that football game. He only goes 2 1/4. He's a freshman defensive end who has really been one of the outstanding surprises for John Palermo on defense.
Yeah, I think Palermo, if you would talk to him about Shaughnessy and the kind of kid and kind of character this person has, is that he wouldn't trade him for anybody else. He's a guy that's motor keeps running, he keeps coming at you. He gets tired, but he'll get him off, and then he'll go back out there and give you everything he's got.
Reminds you a little bit of Tarek Saleh. And on the hit, ball up for grabs near side. Incomplete. Big hit in the backfield. Crooks, Sanders got in there, and then Shaughnessy in his own blitz had the coverage on the back out of the backfield.
Yeah, great recognition on his part to come off the corner on that. Hits the running back first, which you're able to do. Knows what he's supposed to do and cover down on that with the guys coming in. Sanders putting a lick on there, almost getting his own pick, but they're sending a message. No matter what you're throwing at us, we're ready for it and bring it on, and that's what this defense has done the first 3 drives of the second half.
Another high punt. Williams going to try and bring this one back. He bobbled, but he gets hold. Now he's got some room. Brandon Williams to the 45.
A little bit of luck never hurts. Bobbles the ball. The coverage guy goes right by it. Had he known that it was going to bobble, he probably could just reach down and grab it. But great blocking by the coverage team, by the protection team there. And when they get downfield, I tell you what, Brandon Williams is scary. But there's a couple big blocks right there. One of them, by number 3.
Brandon did have the ball put away. It was just high up on his shoulder. It looked as though initially at real time that he had bobbled. He didn't. He just had it up high on the shoulder. It's first down, an 18-yard return for Brandon Williams. 1:07 to play in the third. Stocco looks to throw. Looks to go deep for Jonathan Orr. Orr lays out, and it's incomplete.
Not only the official's right there, but Orr's got his back to him, so I'm not sure if the official could tell if it bounced on the ground or not, but I tell you, that time Orr got to it without having to stutter step, got his big mitts on it.
We're going to look at it again. We'll see it right here. The replay booth is right next to us, so you're going to get the same look we're going to get. Orr lays out at the 20. It looks like a catch to me, but remember, it's got to be irrefutable video evidence to overturn the call on the field. They are going to buzz down and review this one. Jonathan Orr does an outstanding job to lay out, and I think he makes the catch. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be overturned, Scott.
Yeah.
But I do think he caught it.
It looks like a catch to me, too, and I'll tell you what he does. He sells it afterwards. He rolls up, holds the ball up in his hands. If you can let it go far enough here, you'll see him sit up on that. But I tell you, it looks like he's got it. Right there is probably where the official thought it was incomplete, but I think he had possession of it beforehand.
Scott, I think his hands are underneath the ball.
Yep.
I think he's got control, but again...
You see him sell it right here. He reaches up to the official. I got it. But
well, here we go. We're going to get the call on the field.
Following your review, indisputable video evidence, pass is incomplete. Second down.
And the only reason I say that, even though I believe that Orr made the catch, I don't know if there was enough video evidence to make it
otherwise.
Absolutely unquestionable that he caught the ball.
Yeah, I think we're right. He's not. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think that's right. Yeah, I'm with you.
Should we buzz down? I think you're right. I think he caught the ball, got his hands underneath it, did hit the ground in his face mask, but I think he had control and possession. As he did hit it, it's not the reason he caught the ball was when he hit the ground.
It's 2nd and 10. Ball is at the 45. Rentmeester pops back in the I formation in front of Calhoun. Ryan gets a look on the left edge. He's got a little bit of running room, and he's short of the first down with his biggest carry of the day. He'll get 9.5, and it's 3rd and a half a yard.
Just being patient, waiting for the seam to open up, and then when he sees it, he hits it really hard. Brian does a good job of waiting that way, and he's very patient for those guys to clear and make some seal blocks, guys putting people on the ground, getting to the second level of linebackers. And again, when he sees the seam and the hole that he wants to go through, he hits it in a hurry.
3rd down play here, 3rd and less than a yard. Rentmeester, the up back, in the eye. Calhoun pops it to the outside. He's got a chance to the sideline. Oh, he lowers the right shoulder and knocks to the deck Zach Logan. 1st down, Wisconsin, and a little bit of a big man coming out of Calhoun on that one.
I tell you, that's one where the running backs love to get a guy out in the open like that. I'm going to make him move, or I'm going to run right over the top of you, and he uses the boundary to his advantage to set him up, lowers his right shoulder, and sends him flying. And you know, a lot of times you're taught, be the hammer or the nail. That time Calhoun was definitely the hammer on that play.
And now the bright sunshine comes back out. Mainly the field is in shadows, but a bright sunshine coming out for the first time since the early portion of this ball game. Late on the snap and a bad exchange. I think that Raiola must have gone a bit earlier than the rest of the line because Stocco takes the hit on that one.
Yeah, I think everywhere. Stocco did a good job on that of just securing the ball and making sure when he did get tackled he had it. But I think you're right. Raiola did snap a bit early because everybody else was stationary.
Well, the turning point in this one is the 3rd quarter. Wisconsin leads it at the end of 3. It is 24-13 Badgers, and the decisive 4th quarter is yet to come on Wisconsin Public Television.
Thank you for watching Wisconsin Public Television. Now let us know what you think about the program you just watched or any of our programs by calling 1-800-253-1158 or by emailing us at comments@wpt.org. Wisconsin Public Television belongs to you. Thanks for letting us know what you think.
Cuba. Beyond the culture, the cigars, and the classic cars lies a world often overlooked, with jumping crocodiles, marching crabs, and tiny hummingbirds. Cuba, Wild Island of the Caribbean. Next time on Nature.
Sunday night at 7 on Wisconsin Public Television. You're watching Wisconsin Public Television, your place to grow through learning.
Presentation of Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television is made possible in part by Goodman's Jewelers. John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers, proud of the tradition started by Robert and Irwin Goodman. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933. News Talk 1310 WIBA AM and ESPN 1070. The Badgers play here. The Mendota Gridiron Club, the official fundraising organization for University of Wisconsin football. University Athletic Department, with official information about Badger athletics on the web. The Wisconsin Alumni Association, connecting, enriching, and serving UW-Madison alumni and friends for more than 140 years. UWalumni.com. And by the Badger Fund, the Wisconsin Athletic Department's annual fundraising program, 14,000 donors, supporting 750 Badger student athletes.
I came to get down, so get down your feet and jump around, jump around, jump around, jump around, jump
Yeah, it's always fun. I don't know. I haven't been to all the other venues, Scott. I've been to all the venues in the Big Ten, and there's no place that rocks at the end of the 3rd quarter like Camp Randall.
Yeah, I think they got 2 different things. One at the end of the 3rd and then the 5th quarter after the game. And I don't know too many places, like you said, around the country that celebrates like the Badger fans do. It's pretty awesome.
It is 2nd and 14, and Stocco looks to throw. Now tucks it under. Runs up the middle, dragged down from behind. by Ryan Baker. It's a gain of about 2, maybe the original line of scrimmage, or just shy of that. So it'll be 3rd and 11. You look at the statistics, you look at that, and the passing yards are well in favor of Wisconsin. Total yards, Purdue has it, but that bottom number, that 3-1 in turnovers, that usually makes a difference.
Yeah.
The one turnover was the big one. Wisconsin didn't score on 2 of those, but they did score a long touchdown on the 3rd, and that was the game changer.
Yeah, Roderick Rogers, a tremendous job on that, getting down the field again, scoring a touchdown for the Badgers off the defensive side of the ball.
Calhoun out of the backfield will get the 30, but he's 7 yards shy of a first down. And again, it is Urbic who gets beat hard from that right offensive tackle position by the left defensive end. It's either Edwards or Ninkovich that has beaten him around a corner pretty much all day, and Stocko took a shot again on that one.
And that's one of the things they were a little concerned about Urbic with, was in the beginning of the year, is being able to handle the speed off that corner. The good thing for Stocko, it's on his front side where he should be able to see that, but they are continuing to get pressure time and time again off that corner.
47-yard attempt by Melhoff. It is going to miss wide right. Wide right by Taylor Melhoff, who is 0 for 2 in field goal attempts from distance today. He made a short one, but he's missed 2 long ones. So Wisconsin sits in a position here with 13:34 to play and an 11-point Badger lead.
I'm not so sure on that. Again, I don't think he struck the ball real well. They got a little pressure up front there, and I don't know if he caught that out of the corner of his eye and placed his foot wrong or whatever the deal was with him. But it was just one of the things that a kicker's got to be consistent, focus on the ball, knows he's going to get some pressure, but he's got to kick it off there.
You see, Purdue got pressure from the left edge. That was very short as well, by the way. I thought initially that he had just badly pulled it, but it wasn't going to get the distance either, and Taylor's got a much stronger leg than that. So he's not had his best day of hitting the big one today. And Wisconsin trying to find a way to hold on. One of the former Badger opponents this year, North Carolina, beat a Virginia team today that's ranked in the top 25 by a final score of 7-5.
7-5. Isn't that baseball?
Yeah.
That's probably one of the good things of Badgers when they came out with the BCS standings. It's going to do nothing but help those guys down the road. When you look at a lot of the other teams that are out there, Notre Dame, I think, was frustrated where they were at that time. And the Badgers are sitting pretty good, especially if North Carolina wins that way. Northwestern obviously is surprising some people. That was kind of a shocker at that point. But these next 2 weeks, they've proven that that wasn't a fluke beating the Badgers. They're for real, and all those things can help the Badgers in their standings.
Scott, you've been around this game for a long time. You know that a lot of tight college football games change on 2 or 3 plays. Today, that has certainly been the textbook example of that. In this ball game, Wisconsin has turned it. That's Ike Iguanu stepping in on the interception. It didn't lead to a score, but then this is Roderick Rogers, and instead of having it lead to a score, it is a score.
Right, and those are the things that changed the entire momentum of the game. The Purdue offense had it. The Badger defense came out and stopped them a couple of times. Their defense did it against the Badger offense. Finally, somebody had to make a play. Roderick Rogers did it for Wisconsin defense.
And play number 3, Calhoun up the middle, through the seam, breaking the defensive back's ankle and going to the end zone for a touchdown. That's the difference. 3 plays, all in favor of Wisconsin, and it's an 11-point lead.
Yeah, and those are, I think, the last play that you saw before the Badgers tried the field goal there was the same play that Calhoun just scored on. Stocko tried to throw it to him. He had some guys in his face. He couldn't find Calhoun, which is why he ran. But I think instead of Calhoun, because he can't get on track running the ball, hit him on those little quick swing passes like that, and that's where you're going to see him shine today.
Well, Wisconsin has made plays when they've had to today. Purdue, in the big picture, has not. Again, Ike Iguanu steps up. He was just a half step late on that quick out. It's complete on the outside, shy of the first down. Ball thrown to Kevin Knoll.
I tell you one thing that I've seen today, the Badgers, number 9, Dorian Bryant for Purdue. I don't think Bryant has a catch today yet, which he's their number 1 guy.
Yeah, no catches for Dorian Bryant. You're absolutely right. He's carried it 3 times for 25, mainly on options. Ball comes near side, out of the backfield, and near a first down and good for a first down for Purdue. The ball was caught on the outside by Dustin Keller.
they've spread the ball around enough to a bunch of different guys. He's a tight end they got there. I think they've hit passes on probably about 9 different receivers today. So they still move the ball around like Purdue is known to do. Just they haven't really been able to get on track. They've got a couple short passes. I think 17 yards is their longest completion right now. And, it's one of those things that the Badgers are letting them catch the ball, but they're coming up and tackling.
And again, over the middle and laid and knocked away and nearly intercepted. Roderick Rogers is having himself a day. He's got a little right shoulder stinger going on that just keeps popping up because he's holding it, just dangling that right arm. But another big hit there by Roderick Rogers.
With Stellmacher did that in the first half, came up and knocked the ball away. Rogers, again, recognizing what's coming at him, closing and making contact right at the time the ball arrives, just like you're taught to do. You're right. He's got a little stinger, but anytime you get a hit like that, you'll try and shake that off, keep yourself out on the field.
2nd and 10. Curtis Painter, the quarterback, has gone all day. His first college start out of the backfield, near side. Dorian Bryant. Nelly, I'm not happy with you now. Dorian Bryant to the 29-yard line. His first catch of the day after Nelson jinxes it, and it's a big one for Purdue.
Yeah, I'll take credit for that.
Yeah, he'd take the blame is what you
blame. All right. I tell you that the one thing that's risky on that, you got Sanders covering him as a wide receiver is way too fast for him to handle. He's got to have help from either safety or cornerback. He does a simple in and out route. Sanders is there on the in route, but he can't cover the speed on the out route, and that's where he runs away. He breaks a couple tackles. That shows you the talent that kid has.
Well, and when Curtis Painter flushed a little bit, that's when he found his man, and he'll learn as he plays more. You got to look for number 9 if you're the Purdue quarterback. This time Painter throws over the middle. It's again close to a first down. Caught at the 20-yard line.
Good pressure up front by the Wisconsin front 4 and front 5. They're coming in, running a small stunt, but coverage downfield was tremendous. When Painter steps up, though, that's when the receivers realize I've got to try and get open. They start coming back, know what we need for a first down, but they're going to come back even closer to the quarterback so he can find those white jerseys.
Kevin Knoll on the catch, just shy of the first down. 2nd and less than a yard. Boyd on the right side keeps his feet. It's not Boyd, it's Sheets. The ball's loose. It's Wisconsin football. Corey Sheets fighting for extra yards, had it stripped away, and the Badgers get it back on the 4th turnover today for the Boilermakers.
I tell you, I think there was 2 or 3 different times through the course of that run that I thought he was down. Momentum was stopped. He kept fighting, and a lot of times when you see a running back doing that, they're either going to break it, and as they continue to fight, tremendous job there by number 54 for the Badgers, Newkirk.
He not only stripped it, Nelly, but then he jumps on it.
He jumped on that. That's credit due where it should go. But again, a lot of times running backs, when they fight, they start flipping the ball like that. It gives the defense a chance to reach in there and strip it. Tremendous job by Newkirk. A big play for the Badgers.
And that's Joe Tiller on the sideline coaching up his sophomore from Manchester, Connecticut. Calhoun on the near side, hemmed in, might have gotten a yard on the play. Calhoun just now over 40 yards on the day. And keeping in mind, we thought we'd get there today with Brian Calhoun, and maybe we still will. Well, he did. He's over the 1,000-yard mark for the season. Calhoun needed 41 yards on the day, and I believe he got it there. Although they mark it as just a pickup of 1, so they're going to keep him 1 yard shy of 1,000 for the year. They did it again here. He weaves his way through the defense, and Calhoun is over 1,000 now for the season. So it's been a while since Wisconsin has had that. Anthony Davis, the last to do it 2 seasons ago. It is Calhoun who joins that illustrious group of Wisconsin 1,000-yard rushers.
And Calhoun's well deserving of that. Obviously started his Badger career here against Bowling Green with a breakout day. He's been very consistent and solid, not only running the ball, but elevated his game from what people thought he could do receiving the ball as well. And you saw that evident with his touchdown today. 2 touchdowns, as a matter of fact, through the air for him. And he's every bit as good as the coaches have touted him this year.
3rd and 4 underneath. Good to Owen Daniels. Daniels made a great catch on a very tough low throw from Stocco. I don't know if he's got the first down. It's going to be very close.
and Kegler in there on defense for Purdue, but it's good to see Owen Daniels out there running again, catching some balls. He's been dinged up the last couple of weeks, but they gave him the first down.
I don't know how. I'm honestly, I don't know how the referee looked at that and said it's a first down from the center of the field. Did it not look like he's short?
It looked like he was well short, but
I don't know if the referee was looking at the right yard marker on the. Honestly, I don't know if he was looking at the right yard marker on the sideline because of the spot and where the flag sticks were prior to the play.
Yep.
I thought he was short, Nelly.
He certainly looked like that, at least from where the first original spot of the ball was. I don't know how they went to measure that, but maybe it's just our angle from being up so high.
Stocko flushes and throws it away on the sideline. Smart play by the Badger junior quarterback. It brings up the 2nd and 10. But that was really a great catch by Owen Daniels on a low throw from John Stocko.
Low throw and a guy draped on his back and then carry him down for a couple spots.
Purdue bench. First warning, Purdue.
Sideline warning against Purdue. They sometimes tend to, you know, Scott from playing how often somebody has to yell at the bench to get back. And
we had John Detman, the strength coach.
That was his job.
We always call him the get back coach. He didn't have anything else to do except the game. He tell you to get back. But it is hard. You start creeping up there, especially when it's down on the end where it's not in front of your bench. You start creeping out, and it's pretty easy to have happen.
2nd down, Stocko to Calhoun. Tries to stretch it out right. Great job to the 25-yard line. Got it going out a little bit, over 50 yards on the day.
You know, we've seen this over and over. The Badgers just kind of grind some things out, make some big plays when they need to, especially at home. They're able to start rallying and get things going. The offensive line is starting to make some plays now. Urbic that time takes out his guy, and while he's at it, brings out another 2 or 3 defensive players for Purdue. And Calhoun reads that, cuts back up in the middle for a big 3rd down conversion here now with 3rd and 2.
3rd down opportunity. Wisconsin 7 of 13 on the day. They were the 2nd best in the Big Ten coming in. 3rd down conversion. See if they get one here. Calhoun picks his hole, and at this time I think he's got it. Ball out over the 32. The sticks were inside the 32, and it's a first down for the Badgers with 8.5 to play.
You know, it's interesting when you watch. They're just patient. They get back in the huddle. There's no panic in there. I think guys know that they're going to get their job done. Big block by Chris Presley there.
Think?
Holy cow. And that for Calhoun to see that, know that he's got some trust in his guys, that he'll take care of his business. The other 10 guys are going to do their job. And in that case, Presley did what he's been talking about the last couple weeks, getting a chance to hit some people, and that time he sent a message.
Well, the numbers for Brian Calhoun have been down since the loss of his favorite fullback, Matt Bernstein. And, you know, Brian was asked, I asked him about it on Monday when we had a chance to meet with some of the players, and he said he doesn't concern himself with that. He doesn't know that would be the reason why some of the rushing numbers are down. I think those who look at it from the vantage point we have see that there's a big difference with the loss of Bernstein.
Yeah, there is. And not to take anything away from Presley by any stretch, or Rentmeester there. I think those guys just don't have the experience that Bernie had. He likes to get out there and block. I think those guys could get to that level. But Bernie, when he first started blocking, wasn't as good as what he is now today in his senior year. But there's an example of what Presley can do.
2nd and 8. Calhoun stretches to the right. They'll get dragged down from behind defensively. Purdue doing a good job stringing it out. And Calhoun might have gotten a yard. It'll bring up 3rd and 8.
With 7 minutes left in the clock, you don't want to sit back and get too conservative. You still got to try and stretch the defense and continue to get those chunks of yardage, whether it's passing or sending running back out and trying to do some of that stuff. But they can't sit back and be too conservative, just like Calhoun try and take over, because Purdue's been able to shut them down with the exception of probably 2 or 3 running plays.
There's Matt Bernstein on the sideline right there, not in uniform today. And again, where college athletics is concerned, we'd like to be able to tell you that he'll be back next week or 2 weeks down the road, but they don't give us that information. It's protected, so we do not know. Screen pass coming near side. Stocko overshot Calhoun on the look, and Wisconsin will punt with 6:32 to play. And an 11-point lead for Wisconsin. This one is not done.
Yeah, they're going to have to pin him back. This is where special teams becomes so important. You get a good clean snap, catch the ball, and get it away. And DeBush has been able to do that with the exception of the the muff in the first half there on his first kick. He's been very solid at kicking the ball and get another one of those, because we saw last week the Minnesota game for Wisconsin how quickly they can change the tide of a game.
Ken DeBush on the Ray Guy watch list, and deservedly so. Number 2 in the country in punting yardage. That one is a wobbler, but it's a beauty. Carries to the 15-yard line on the sideline, and a block in the back will set him back deeper. It's a 54-yard kick by Ken DeBush, and with the Purdue penalty, it will be marked inside the 15-yard line when it's all said and done.
And that just shows you how important special teams in. DeBush probably got the line drive kick like Melhoff wanted to do on his field goal.
Illegal block in the back. Number 9. Spot foul, 10 yards. First down,
they're
Purdue.
made by the referee, Bill Lemonnier. Crew has done a good job today. We'll see it right here in the replay.
Yeah, watch on the right side of the screen right there. Looks like a good block. The only thing that he didn't do is get his helmet in front. If he puts his helmet in the front part of the shoulder pad, they're not throwing the flag because it was behind. That's why they threw it. Even though he connected with him on the side, he's got to have his head in front.
So Purdue will have it at their own 11-yard line with 6:21 to play in this one. The score doesn't make it out of reach at 11, but that is a huge play, as we talked about before the punt, for Wisconsin to pin him deep. And Ken DeBush is going to have a chance. He's just a sophomore. He's going to have a chance to win that award this year, but he's going to be around a while, and he's the best punter that Wisconsin has had since Kevin Stempke, and has a chance before it's all said and done to be better than Stempke.
Yeah, and Stempke won the inaugural Ray Guy Award when he was a senior here at Wisconsin. A tremendous kicker in his own right, tremendous leg. I tell you, DeBush is every bit as good as that, and with what he's got coming ahead of him in 2 years, a little bit more strength training, some more practice, going to some kicking camps, and fine-tuning his technique, I think you're right. I think he can surpass him. It's a lot to ask of a guy because Stempke was that good, but he definitely has a potential to try and give it a shot.
6:21 to play in this one. Brian Calhoun on the day, 17 carries, 58 yards. 5 catches for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns in the air. So 136 all-purpose yards for Calhoun, who on the year, all-purpose yardage is number 6 in the country, with just under 1,300 yards coming in. And also 84 points. He adds to that total today to get him to 96 points on the year with 2 more touchdowns today.
You know, it's always interesting when you listen to coaches, this kid's special, and they say that about a lot of guys because they try and pump up the mystique of what the program is. They try and boost the confidence of the players. But on Brian Calhoun, I think they hit the nail right on the head. He's a guy that's a quality ball player. He sounds like he's a quality young man, and he got his priorities straight, but he loves playing football. You see that when he scores a touchdown. He doesn't celebrate. He just flips the ball to the official. He goes back and plays some more.
Big defensive set here against Brett Bell on the outside. Painter completes the pass, and that one is good for about 7 yards as it goes to Kyle Ingram. 2nd and 3, maybe 4.
Again, big, tall receivers that can get downfield, and he can throw it high, he can throw it low. It doesn't really matter. They got the long arms to go low and the long arms to go high. It's just a matter of getting body position on those guys.
Bell on the corner, top of the screen. Ike Iguanu is the corner near side, up near the line of scrimmage. And throwing near side, and it's caught in front of Andy Crooks. It's complete to Cunningham on the catch. Purdue they have thrown to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the 10th different Purdue receiver to catch a ball today.
Yeah, and I don't know how he caught that because Andy Crooks was right on him. He basically right in his back pocket like that, but heck of a throw and catch on his part.
First down and over the middle. Oh, and nearly picked off by Rodgers. And had that been on the money and Rodgers had chosen a different route, he could have blown up Dorian Bryant.
Yeah, I think he was kind of caught in the middle. Do I go for the ball? Do I go for the kill shot? And he just got caught in the middle. Luckily, it was overthrown, but he had a chance at either one of those. He just got to make a decision, go for the hit or go for the ball. But again, right position, right time, and good coverage coming in from the outside there with Ike Iguanu as well. No matter what happened, somebody was going to get hit and get hit hard.
It's 2nd and 10. Badgers haven't blitzed a lot today. 3-man rush here, and there comes Shaughnessy on a stunt. It's incomplete near sideline. That was a 3-man rush, not a blitz, but a stunt, and Shaughnessy had a clear shot at the quarterback, Curtis Painter.
And that shows you one of the things that John Palermo likes so much about Shaughnessy is his speed. Coming around on a stunt, 3 men, you get lost out there, you loop out there, the guy on the left tackle lets you disappear, nobody else checks down to pick you up. But that's what he likes about Cooper and Shaughnessy, speed and aggressiveness, and you saw it right there.
Badgers get into a lot of white flags in the student section. It's not a surrender. It's 3rd and 10, and Purdue might surrender after this play. Painter has time. Now Ross Shaughnessy got a hit. It's complete. Ikukwanu on the hit. It's 4th down.
Shaughnessy again getting pressure, showing his speed, getting after the quarterback, and Ikukwanu squatting right where he needs to, covering the man that he's supposed to cover, and being patient and waiting. But it's all set up by Shaughnessy coming off the corner, and Ikukwanu making the break when he sees the ball thrown and plants him down, makes it 4th and 11.
Ticking inside of 5:20 in the game. Brandon Williams, another high hanging punt. Will he take a shot? He will at the 30. And he'll get nothing on the outside, although he does drag the tackler an extra 4 or 5 yards. Give credit to Purdue in the punting game today, because Dave Breitis has really hit the ball high all day, not giving Brandon Williams great opportunities that we should get on those low line drive punts.
Yeah, he's had a couple where you think what could have been called a shank, and it really wasn't, because when you watch it, the flight pattern of the ball, it just never turned over. It could have been a long distance as far as the kick, but then when it lands, he gets a great bounce and great roll for the Purdue to send him back a little bit. These last couple of times, Williams has come up and made the catch, and on that, as you mentioned, he got hit right away, but carry guys for 3 yards. Doesn't help his average, but it certainly sets a tone that you can try and kick wherever you want, but I'm going to go after the ball, and that's the kind of attitude that he has.
14 third-quarter points by the Badgers, one on an interception return of about 80 yards and another on a Calhoun pass reception for a touchdown. That's the difference. Wisconsin trailed at 13-10. They now lead it 24-13. Calhoun dives forward across the 35.
Just trying to attack the middle of the defense there again, establish control of the line of scrimmage, and that's what this offense has done so well. But they still got to stay aggressive. 5 minutes left in the game. They still got to get a couple first down here. They got to force Purdue to create a few different things and try a few different stunts where now those seams will open up a little bit because they've got to become more aggressive.
About 4.5, ticking down to 4:32, 4:31 to play in this one. 2nd and 7. Calhoun on the stretch, looking for something. Still waits and dives forward for a couple.
Just patient, trying to get out there on a stretch play, letting your lineman set up some blocks. And again, he's patient to get out there, but because you see Purdue, they come down, they run down the field. All their shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage, which doesn't give Calhoun a lot of places to go. If they turn their shoulders, that opens up a hole for them. If they stay square, everything's closed off.
Wisconsin won the meeting with Purdue last year 20-17 on that game-changing play of the year on the fumble by Orton and the return by Scott Starks for a touchdown. Badgers trying to make it 2 in a row over the stumbling Purdue Boilermakers. Calhoun, stutter steps, dropped the ball. He put it on the turf, and Purdue will have it at the 37-yard line. Calhoun had a bit of a seam. We haven't seen it from Brian this year, but that time he just dropped it, put it on the turf, and Purdue is in business with 3:37 to play.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time. We've been talking. Just got to keep going at it. Calhoun sets up Posiak, who's coming over to seal off a block there. He reads it, tries to cut inside. He actually bumps into Posiak there, knocks it out, and that's not something that, Brian, you'd see drop the ball very often on a little hit like that. But trying to make a big play and turn it upfield for some positive first down yardage and drop the ball, which is unfortunate. But the secondary has got to step up here now because they're going to start coming at them.
Well, this team and that offensive line, a couple of players were walking to the bench with Calhoun, trying to keep his dauber up. He's the reason they're here. Painter deep over the middle. Wobbler incomplete. It was tipped, and Roderick Rogers had another chance for Painter. Couldn't pull it in.
That's one where you just come back, you start smiling like, how did I drop that one? It's amazing. I think it's right tip, I think, by Hayden right there. Looks like Rogers, when he came through to try and pick it up, hit his left thigh and knocked it away from himself. But they're in the right position at the right time. Guys are getting their hands up, and they're getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback that they didn't get in the first half.
And this is one of the times where a Wisconsin defense, which hasn't had a picture-perfect year, has come through at the right times. This is another one of those right times. Painter, sprint, option, intercepted. Jack Ikaguanu, touchdown, Wisconsin. I think we just said something about defense coming through at the right times.
Everybody contributing, guys making plays, and defensive linemen getting up there after the quarterback and trying to get pressure on him. Shaughnessy coming at him again, forces a throw that's a little unorthodox. Ikaguanu, third interception on the year, third for his career, second today, his first touchdown. Obviously going to make a claim for the starting spot at corner out there, but I think those guys are having fun out there now.
Ike's twin brother plays his football at Northern Illinois, and hopefully he'll see, I'm sure he'll see that one. One brother will share it with the other.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. And Ikaguanu from Madison Memorial High School, right out of his hometown here, playing for the Badgers.
The extra point is good, and that one ought to put this one to bed. And that's a pickup for Brian Calhoun. His team picks him up as he has picked up his team throughout the season. Calhoun put one on the turf. 2 plays later, the Badgers go to the house.
Ikaguanu coming right at it for about a 62-yard touchdown. Just tremendous recognition, guys being in the right place at the right time and forcing and creating things on their own because of pressure they're getting up front, and then the secondary and the linebackers covering down where they're supposed to. And Watkins is out there. Ikaguanu just happened to be at the right place, and I think either one of those guys could have picked that off.
Shaughnessy sets it up. Ikaguanu, his second pick of the day, his first touchdown of his college career, and it's a big one that probably salts this one away for Wisconsin. And Nelly, when we start talking about big picture things here, a win today puts Wisconsin at 7-1. They were in the top 20 when the day began. They'll be there when the day finishes. It would be their 11th straight home victory, which, oh, by the way, coincides with you and I being 11-0 in the booth here, which is the longest in school history, modern era. It will also put the Badgers at 4-1 in the Big Ten, with back-to-back road games next week at Champaign against the Fighting Illini, who have been miserable most of the season. Not to assume anything.
Right.
And then the following week, maybe a Big Ten title on the line in the last 2 weekends, but certainly at Happy Valley against Penn State, that game takes on additional significance if Wisconsin can hold serve at Illinois next weekend.
Yeah, and I think that's the key right there. Can they go into Illinois and win? Because you have to get some momentum on the road. Coming back to home after you beat Minnesota last week on the last-second deal, you come back here to the friendly confines. You can tell they're much more comfortable here than they are on the road, but you got to go down to Champaign. You got to win there because it's certainly not going to get any easier when you go out to Penn State there. It's going to be a raucous crowd out there. They got that lion roar that irritates everybody when you go out there because they do it over and over. But if you can do what they did today against Purdue, at least up to this point with 3:21 left in the game, you're going to quiet that crowd and you can celebrate a little bit, but it's certainly not going to get any easier from here on out.
Yeah, and it also sets up, again, in the big picture, it sets up the potential for a magical game against Iowa on November 12th.
Right.
It's Barry Alvarez's final game at Camp Randall Stadium after 16 of the best years in Wisconsin's football history. And could it be for a Big Ten title? Not a trip to the Rose Bowl, because the Rose Bowl is the national championship game this year. But a very significant January 1st bowl game. It's all possible. It's big picture stuff, but it sure is fun to talk about when you have such little time remaining in the season and the chance to be 7-1 through 8 weeks. It's fun to talk about those big picture things.
And that's what we have the liberty of doing. I think if you went and talked to the coaches or the players, they're not even worried about that, and nor will the coaches even mention that to the guys. But they certainly do have their destiny in their hand. They lost Northwestern again, a team that's a lot better than people give them credit for. But then you got Illinois, Penn State, and Iowa. Those 3 games right there, Iowa playing a close one against Michigan going to overtime. they've obviously made some corrections as they struggled early in the beginning of the year. Illinois is one you should have. Penn State and Iowa are, again, they're huge games and can really, depending on what happens at the rest of today and how things shake out next week for the Badgers, it could be even more important going into Penn State.
Well, and in fairness, there's nobody outside of the Wisconsin locker room and football program that would have thought the Badgers would be playing for a Big Ten title after we have played 5 Big Ten games. I mean, they're 4-1 with a win today in the Big Ten and 7-1 overall, and nobody outside of that program thought that was doable with this team.
Yeah, I think 4-1 probably was the best that people would have thought they would be, but the loss would have been to Michigan, not to Northwestern. Knowing Purdue, how well they were ranked and what a good team they had coming back, nobody thought that they probably would have won this game today, which gives them 2 losses. So for them to be able to do what they've done, despite all the injuries that they've had, some on offense, most of them on defense, is a tremendous credit to these kids and how hard they work and the plan that the coaches put together and how they all execute one among the other.
So as we tick inside of 2.5 minutes to play, it's 3rd and 1 for Purdue, and Wisconsin flipping the score on the Boilermakers at 31-13. That'll be a first down carry on the 3rd down play for the Boilermakers as we tick down close to 2 minutes to play.
1st and 10 Purdue.
It doesn't get any easier for Purdue. They've had a tough go. There's no 2 ways about it. Purdue, a team that was as high as number 11 nationally just a few weeks ago, now going to lose their 5th straight. And Purdue next week gets Michigan State. They finish with Illinois and Indiana, but Purdue is going to struggle at this point to get to bowl eligible at 2-5 and 0-4 in the league. They'd have to win the rest of the way just to have a chance to play in a bowl game. Painter on the near sideline. It's complete and good for a first down.
First down and inbound, so once they set the change, the clock will start up again. You know, you mentioned the Badgers beating Purdue last year down at West Lafayette. A couple years ago, Purdue was number 13. Wisconsin was 14 here at Camp Randall. And Purdue came away with a 26-23 victory. And it was nice to avenge that loss from a couple years ago at your own place.
Yeah, I missed a week on Purdue's schedule. They play at Penn State next week. That was why I said their schedule does not get any easier. They'll be at Penn State before they finish with Michigan State, Illinois, and Indiana. So in all likelihood, Purdue is going to have a long bowl streak, which is 8 seasons in a row, come to an end this year for Joe Tiller.
I think as we're talking there, we just saw a pretty big hit on a crossing receiver there by number 24. I think it was Watkins playing to the guy.
74 offense, 10 yards previous spot, still first down.
Along with the holding call, I guess, but he came across number 88 for Purdue, and he was put down pretty hard by the Badgers.
We'll see it again here. Here's Ware wasn't even in his stance when the ball was snapped. And he's the one that got held as well.
Sometimes it helps to be out of position, I guess, huh?
Yeah, sure. Painter is going all the way at quarterback, and that's a ball he has thrown many times today, and I don't think his receivers are real thrilled with that route and the fact maybe the Painter's selling it a little early, Scott, and you see that from the safety position, whether he sold it out.
That's the 4th time now that we've seen Rodgers come up there from his secondary position as a safety, reading the same thing over and over and over, the same route that they've running, and each and every time he's had an interception. The other 2 times he could have cleaned the clock of the receiver. He's laid off a little bit because the ball's been misfired, but he's got to do something to correct that. If he's got to look off to the other side and then come back knowing where he wants to throw to, but the safeties are picking it up way too easy.
Painter this time will hand it off. That is up the middle, and a big pickup on the play, shy of the first down with 1:10 to play. Curtis Painter on the day, 19 of 39 for 183 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, and he's their leading rusher right now with 58 yards, so that tells you something about their running game as well and how the Badgers have shut that down with the exception of him.
Inside of a minute, 3rd and 1, and that's good for a first down for the Boilermakers, who are trying to salvage one last drive out of this one. It's Brandon Jones, good for the movement of the sticks at the 30-yard line with 48 seconds to play. Painter has plenty of time, now flushes left, He'll run it out of bounds at the 29-yard line, which stops the clock at 38 seconds.
Smart play on his part. Everybody was covered downfield. He had linebackers flowing at him and just did the smart thing, save a timeout and get out of bounds. I tell you, this is a spot where Purdue's trying to get some momentum heading into this next week, knowing they've lost this game, but get some excitement before Penn State. The Badgers' secondary or defense overall, secondary is doing a good job covering, but they've got to maintain these guys and solidify things here as they near the red zone so they don't score. So they've got some momentum going into practice for this next week against Illinois. Got to save face a little bit.
Painter on the middle screen to Jones, who runs toward the far sideline. He'll stay in bounds, get the first down to stop the clock, and move the sticks with 28 seconds to play. It's a Purdue team that, as I mentioned earlier, completed passes to 9 different receivers today. Purdue takes a timeout, not popular with the Wisconsin crowd here. But, you know, with a young quarterback, you're working him. Joe Tiller's working with him to get him to understand how important it is to be able to do things in waning seconds of a half.
And those are all teachable moments that the coaches try and find. And a lot of times, even though people don't like it, it's probably a good call. Settle guys down a little bit. He can go over, here's the situation that we're in. Here's what we want to do. And they go over that in practice just in a 2-minute drill, usually on a Wednesday, to say, hey, this is what we want to do down the stretch. This is what they're trying to do right now.
And here are 3 pieces of tape that he can learn from before he plays at Penn State next week. All Wisconsin interceptions.
Yeah, Ike Iguano, again, a great break right there, stepping in front of the receiver, think he's into the NFL. He's got a few years before he even has to think about that. Coming up here, Rogers doing a tremendous job of stepping in front. Again, got a little lucky with his break, but obviously showed some talent running the football and going down for a touchdown, getting some key blocks down the field, but showing the speed that he has. And it's just a tremendous job and pressure there. And again, Ike Iguano coming up with a second one for the day and a touchdown, going to the house with a touchdown and celebrating with some teammates. It's all those things that Wisconsin capitalized and enforced some things because of the pressure and the aggressiveness they had. With Painter, he's just got to learn to understand and recognize the situation, where he's at, what they're doing, and try not to force stuff. Recognize what's out there, what they give you. He did that on this last run that he had, but on those passes, he was trying to force a few things.
And you don't win in college football or any level of football when you turn it over a lot, and Purdue has turned it over 7 times now in the last 2 weeks. And that hurts. Wisconsin's defense putting 14 points on the board today, and they put the last 7 on the board last week at Minnesota on special teams. So Wisconsin's defense and special teams have been a big factor for 2 weekends in a row. Now Wisconsin takes their show on the road to Illinois and Penn State the next 2 weekends.
You know, having said that, the defense has given up 1,100 yards, though, in 2 weeks as well. They've obviously made some corrections from those 2 weeks against Northwestern and Minnesota. Here today, they gave up some yardage. They haven't given up the amount that they did the last couple weeks, but when you give up 400-some yards that way, you still got a few things to work on. But obviously, they're playing a little renewed enthusiasm as far as what their role and expectation are within the team, and guys are getting the job done. Today, offense struggled. The defense took care of business and helped win the game.
Purdue and their quarterback still working on teaching now. Painter with the complete pass, shy of the first down, but they take their second of 3 timeouts with 20 seconds remaining. Essentially, it does 2 things. 1, it gives Purdue a chance to work on things in the waning minutes of a game. 2, it delays the festivities of the 5th quarter here on the field. That's what the fans boo about. They want the band out there. They want to hear the polka. They want to jump.
They want to celebrate a little bit.
They want to have a little celebration before the sun goes down, and they move the celebration indoors at other venues in the area. 20 seconds on the clock. And Curtis Painter. And let's see if the Badger defense can jump up here and make a big stop and keep Purdue off the board to finish the game. Painter lob pass, far sideline in the end zone. It's incomplete. Good defense by Brett Bell.
Good defense, and what you see there, the official actually threw his hat on the sideline. A lot of times what that means is through contact with the receiver and the defensive back, he's forced out of bounds. He's got to come back and check in bounds first before he's able to go.
He can't be the first guy to touch the ball, essentially. So had that ball even been caught, it would have been wiped away. 15 seconds to play. The down and distance irrelevant at this point. Painter with a shotgun snap. Going to throw to the end. No, short of the end zone. It's caught, but it's a first down. It'll stop the clock with 8 seconds to play. For Curtis Painter, that is his 43rd pass of the day, which would seem like a lot. But Drew Brees played here and threw 42 more times than that about 7 years ago.
Yep. Called their last time out. Yeah, I was at that game, and I tell you, watching that happen, and that's the game that Fletcher picked him off and returned it for a touchdown. And it's funny how history repeats itself, I guess, that way, where Wisconsin's done that twice now. 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, creating turnovers. But that was a heck of a game. It was a night game under the lights. Not many times that the Badgers get a chance to do that, but you knew something special was going on as he kept throwing and connecting passes, and the spread offense that he ran and directed. And that year they lost to him. I think the next year was the year they went to the Rose Bowl. A tremendous ball club. Coach Tiller has done a tremendous job building that program in his 9-year tenure there right now. And a good program that for a long time was good, dropped off a little bit, and he's reestablished and built a new foundation for them to build on.
Maybe a chance for 2 plays. No timeouts left. So Purdue's got to throw the ball to the end zone with 8 seconds to play. Painter looks, throws over the middle, touchdown. Touchdown, Purdue on the second to last play of this ball game. Over the middle, it's caught by Dustin Keller, I believe, for the touchdown. And that'll change the final score, but not the result. If they kick the extra point, it will finish at 31-20.
Keller's a tight end that was guarded by Andy Crooks and just got inside him. Crooks was right there again. He's had good coverage at 2 or 3 different times. We've been able to call his number on a passing play right there, but a solid pass and a great catch for a touchdown there in traffic.
I think the only effect of that, well, it has 2 effects. One is Purdue is working on teaching things, and that's good for them. It's a negative on the Badger defense because they could have stopped, but it won't affect the outcome. And the other element is, and I don't look at these things, but whatever the line was, maybe, I suppose.
For those of you that do.
Yeah, for those people out there who are watching this at 1:30 in the morning and wondering about whether their team covered. But it is Wisconsin who's going to get the win today at 31-20, and the Badgers improve to 7-1. More importantly, 4-1 in the Big Ten. And with games remaining at Illinois and Penn State and a home game against the Iowa Hawkeyes, there are 3 games remaining that will determine the Big Ten championship, and Wisconsin is right there.
Yeah, they're right there, and they're ready to go, and it looks like they've got some guys starting to get healthy a little bit. Even though they don't have a bye week, you see some effects from that through the course of the season, but they've been able to rest some guys that were injured. Owen Daniels coming back, and that's important. If you get Bernie back, that's important. But it looks like they've got some new revived energy within the defense. Ostrowski's coming back. Monty was able to play again. So you're starting to see the team shape up like I think everybody thought in the preseason that it would, as far as who is playing and playing where and playing well.
Onside kick to come here. The worry here is not who recovers. Just don't get anybody hurt. Purdue does recover. And the clock has 3 seconds. No movement on the clock. How does the clock not move once the ball is touched on that kick? Barry's halfway out on the field. He wants to know how the clock didn't move.
Once they touch it, it ought to.
Prior to the ball going 10 yards, kicking team, Wisconsin's ball, first down.
All right, so the Badgers will get it as the ball was touched up before it traveled the required 10 yards. Barry wants to know why the clock didn't move on the play. That's what he's talking to the side judge or the field judge on. And now he's going to talk to the referee. All right, well, Barry's satisfied.
Guess we have to be that, huh?
Yeah, that's good enough. All right, we'll take a knee. It's his favorite play.
Yep.
The favorite play that Barry Alvarez has, except with one exception. Well, no, he didn't run against Northwestern. Remember that. He loves to take a knee, and this is the best play that you can see, as Wisconsin will come away with a huge second half from behind win, and first place in the Big Ten still resides at Camp Randall Stadium, and the Wisconsin Badgers now at 4-1. 31-20 is the final. Join us next weekend for Wisconsin hockey. Mike Eaves Badgers welcome the Seawolves of Alaska Anchorage to the Kohl Center. Tune in both Friday and Saturday night, the 28th and 29th of October. A little pre-Halloween fun, 10:30 right here on Wisconsin Public Television. Thanks again to our wonderful crew for working today's game. For Scott Nelson, I'm Mike Heller, and the final score, the Badgers 31, the Boilermakers 20. This is Wisconsin Public Television.
Presentation of Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television is made possible in part by Goodman's Jewelers. John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers, proud of the tradition started by Robert and Irwin Goodman. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933. News Talk 1310 WIBA AM and ESPN 1070. The Badgers play here. The Mendota Gridiron Club, the official fundraising organization for University of Wisconsin football. University Athletic Department, with official information about Badger athletics on the web. The Wisconsin Alumni Association, connecting, enriching, and serving UW-Madison alumni and friends for more than 140 years. UWalumni.com. And by the Badger Fund, the Wisconsin Athletic Department's annual fundraising program, 14,000 donors, supporting 750 Badger student athletes. This is Wisconsin Public Television, licensed to the Wisconsin Educational Communications Board and University of Wisconsin Extension. We are a PBS member station. Our statewide network consists of the following transmitter sites: WHA in Madison, WPNE in Green Bay, WHLA in La Crosse, WHWC in Menominee, Eau Claire, WHRM in Wausau, and WLEF in Park Falls. For information on our schedule and other activities, go to our website at wpt.org. If you would like to comment on our programming, please call us at 1-800-253-1158 or write our email address, comments@wpt.org. Thank you for watching Wisconsin Public Television. We now conclude our broadcast day.